You know Jazz?
Yep.
Jazz Deep?
Yeah, he told me actually, literally the other day on Friday.
Who's Jazz?
Thursday or Friday. Because we were talking about some stuff, you know, and he was like, oh, you know, it is a small world. He's like, do you know Cam and Josh? And I said, Spinny? And he's like, yeah, they're at the YMCA. And I'm like, yeah, so I used to go to school with them and da-da-da, and yeah.
He's awesome. I love him.
Who's Jazz?
He's a volunteer. He was you're his mentor, right?
So at Keeler Family, aside from just being a realtor, I work for Keeler Family to onboard and train new agents to sell real estate and run their own business.
Yeah.
So everyone comes through me, and I'm part of the hiring process.
There you go.
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
I've been at Keeler Family for 2.5 years now. Yep.
Cold open.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what'll happen. But
Okay.
Mr. David Lovelin Jr.
Are we on now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say it all correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a button you clicked?
No, it's down here, but it was a while ago, just in case.
Okay. Oh, so we've already started.
Yeah, so we have like
It's recording, but again, like I'll.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
Okay.
Mr. Realtor.
Hello.
At Mr. 603.
Mr. 603.
I gotta say, I do love the
Thank you.
That is awesome.
The brand?
Yeah.
It's
What
also
603.
insane
I
that no
appreciate
one
that.
else did it for. Like, it's crazy that like you're the first one to do. Like, it seems so obvious to be like, Mr. 603
I
Realtor.
appreciate that. So I feel like there's a lot of different angles on this, and it's different for a lot of people. But like, what do you like about? It's really the brand. What do you like about Mr. 603? Like, what is it about that's
Dude,
different?
it's the whole name. You're Mr. New Hampshire. That's what. Like,
It's yeah.
Like, imagine you have your sign. You're going for office, right?
Yeah.
Mr. 603, David Lovelin Jr. That's hype. Put it on
Thank
a
you.
T-shirt, Mr. 603.
Thank you.
Like,
it is
I
pretty
love
cool.
that.
So speaking of T-shirts, there is an attorney who does like intellectual property and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go and get the brand Mr. 603 registered or something to that effect.
There we go.
That's
That's not
awesome.
available.
There we go.
Heard it here first.
And the 603 Realtor is no longer a thing. You know, it's you know, I to me this is weird, but it's almost like religious to me, the brand. Like
Yeah, it should be. It's your name and you know.
no, like listen to this. This is a little interesting, like very intense. So like Mr. 603 was like the birth of Christ. Right?
Uh-huh.
And then it got to a point where it got a lot. There was some stuff behind the scenes that I won't get into, but I had to like crucify it and kill it. Okay. But Mr. 603, right, was the resurrection, basically. Okay. And it's the resurrection because it went through a lot of pain to get to where it is now.
Mhm.
The 603 Realtor, to quote what it was from the past, because I can't use it anymore, that was only stuck to real estate.
Mhm.
So when people didn't want me using it anymore, they forced me to innovate. And I'm so thankful for that because now I can sell T-shirts. I'm not just a real estate account anymore. I've turned into like an influencer account for New Hampshire. To your point, like politically, like it is kind of cool. I feel like the new, all due respect and huge influence, Fritz Weatherby. But like
I was literally just thinking, like, imagine him on his
respect,
own.
respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Fritz could have something much better, but
So
his name is like
You're gonna get
Cool
a call
enough,
tomorrow.
but-
He'd be like, "Hey, I'm Mr. 603."
I'll be like, no, Fritz. I'd be like,
no Fritz.
let's go out. I would say let's go out to breakfast and talk because we would probably get along really well. And I would
Yeah.
love to sit and like talk history with him and like New Hampshire history, but also it doesn't matter. I could go all day about Fritz Weatherby. I honestly, when I had a Twitter, I was trying to grow it, but like Twitter's dead. So like I didn't get any followers. I made this really cringe post like to Fritz Weatherby. This was like back in college, like 4 or 5 years ago. And I said like, you're like a huge influencer, like you've made a huge impression on me. And then I like read it several years later after forgetting I had Twitter and I had to like delete it.
There's
So it was cringe. I was like, I have no followers. And
There's-
like one of my only tweets.
There's
is, like,
nothing worse
yeah.
than seeing like the memory and like oh man.
Something just. Oh.
Yeah.
How did I do? Like, it gives
There's
you like
nothing.
that gut
yeah.
feeling.
Yeah. There's
Um,
Facebook memories are tough
Oh.
when you're like I don't know how to
I went
spell. I guess
through every day for a year deleting things.
That's smart. There's some where I'm like I'm gonna delete this. I don't want this to ever see the light of day on how I spelt that. But then there's some where I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
this is just funny. Like I'm gonna leave it.
But no, like that's to me kind of what the brand is,
Yeah.
and it's just starting.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what are your thoughts on it? Like, would it?
I think it's cool because it's like you said, I don't get just so like I've known you for years, so I've
Yeah.
seen the transitions. And I mean, even in high school, like you were always kind of like that. You were always like on a hustle and like not hustle in a negative way because I think there's two different versions of
grind.
I wasn't even
Yeah.
18 years old, and I got into a pyramid scheme.
You started one, or you got?
I got into
Okay.
it. It was selling like these coffee packets. Some people might call it network marketing, whatever it is. But like I lied about my age. Do you know what I mean? Like on it, and I said I was 18. I was like 16 years old, and I was hustling and I was selling coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
So-
you put me and like two other people we went to school with in a group message like months after you stopped doing it, and we're like, I don't know if you remember this. You were like, "Hey guys, I'm so sorry. I got wrapped up into this scheme.
I don't.
I
Remember
just
that,
got
but
so."
I
You were
believe
like,
it.
you were just like because me and the mutual friend were like, we were hanging out. And we both got it. And we were like. We couldn't even like at first remember it because you were like, "Hey, sorry guys, that was probably so annoying. Like all I did was talk about coffee, and like I feel so bad. Like I'm not putting like this business over like friendships
Aw.
and stuff." He goes, It was very nice and very,
Sad.
but we were just like, you didn't annoy us. We were just
That's
We're just all
But it was
hopped up
fu-
on caffeine.
yeah, but it was also interesting for you to just be like, "Hey guys, like I'm sorry, but."
Yeah.
And
I'm-
also
I'm
admit
no
like a
longer in the
mistake.
coffee grind anymore.
It's a good grind,
100%.
yeah. But you are in the realty.
Yeah.
I don't know how to. I'm awful at pronunciation
So-
stuff. But like, why that? How old were you when you got into that, and what drew you to that? Because like,
I think I
no one
was
in
a-
your family does it.
I was
Or am I
like
wrong?
19-ish years
Mhm.
old when I got my license, and it was totally like I never thought once in my life I was going to be a realtor.
How easy
in
is
real
it to
estate.
get your license? Because I don't think you just like went into the wrong store and were like, all right, I guess I just accidentally became a realtor. Like, was there something that drew you there?
So, I wanted to be a trial attorney my whole life. I wanted to either sue somebody or like prosecute or defend a criminal. I just wanted like, and I'm being a little satirical, but for me, and this translates into the value I do today as a realtor, is working for one party at a fiduciary level
Mhm.
and just being fucking loyal to them
Mhm.
and saying, I'm on your team. You can trust me 100%. I'm going to do what's best for you. I was very angry, I feel like, growing up. And maybe I don't think people might have saw that. But there was a period of time when I was very young. My family did very, very well. When my dad the economy was going, he was building houses. But when the economy crashed for a long time, there was some good stuff financially. So even though I wanted to, go to law school, I got the A's and B's. I graduated Co-Brown Northwood Academy with high honors, which at the time I think it was top 5 schools in New Hampshire. And I even did the community college route. Okay. But then I realized I can check all the boxes, and get some scholarships. If I don't have the money though, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
to give the college so they can do whatever with it, I can't do what I want in this
Yeah.
society. So early on, I was very naive, and I didn't get to that point yet. And I was like, no, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to be an attorney. So I said, I'm going to get into real estate because I can make like $100,000-$200,000 in like a year real quick.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what everyone thinks when they get into real estate.
It does sound like the
and
even
it's
like
the total
shows and
opposite.
movies are like, I'm gonna be a realtor so quick because I'll make money quick, and it sounds so like I don't even get how that's a thought process.
TV
It
is
seems
not
so hard.
TV's not real, and the 80-20 rule is very true, and in fact it might even be a 90-10 rule. I think
What's
20
that rule?
20% of the people in any industry make 80% of the wealth, and 80% make 20% of the wealth. And I think in real
That's a
estate it's
nugget.
probably closer to 90-10.
That's a nugget. I've never heard that.
Yep.
That's a nugget right there.
Yep. So I always try to be, top tier. But anyways, I was naive. I thought I could do that. But I was still in school. I was at UNH. I looked good. I got down to like 190 pounds. I was having fun. I was partying. It just
Yeah.
wasn't the thing until that semester ended and I, got the bill for the next semester. And
Everything hits when you get the
Yeah.
bill.
Yeah.
so then, I just fast forward, just not good. And I completed the semester, but a lot of stuff happened. I was very depressed because what I wanted to do my whole life that I always thought I could do, because everyone was like, you can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, I learned I can't do because I don't have the money.
Yeah.
Right. So I was very depressed, and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do with my life? And at the time, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Smokers Haven.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So I was working at Smokers Haven on South Willow Street in Manchester, and it was fun. I'll say that. It wasn't necessarily my vibe, but it was a lot of fun. And it was a day off, and I was like, I have to do something with my life. And I was like, I have my real estate license. So I searched on the computer, like, you know, real estate places to work, and there was this Coco Early and Associates at the time, and that's kind of where it wasn't my first firm, but like it was where I first started practicing. And that's when I really started, because I didn't have any other route to go. And I said, I need to now make this work. So that's how I got into real estate.
Yeah.
You know, that it was because I ran into a wall.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a life for myself, but it wasn't going to be the way I thought it was going to be. But it worked out for the better.
Yeah. So it was kind of like an act. I feel like that's how I think anyone who becomes very successful in some lane, their goal was never to be in that lane. Like, you want to be law.
Yep. And I would have been good at it.
Yeah, but
you know? But here's the thing.
But this seems like something you enjoy more. It's more kind of independent.
Yes.
You control it a lot more.
Yes, freedom.
Which I think that's way more like where life is going. Like,
Yes.
that's how I feel. Like, anytime
Yes.
like you asked us before, like, what's the goal here? Is like, I don't know, just be independent so I can
Say
not
what you want to
yeah,
say.
like why would I want to work for somebody? I want to be able to work
Yeah.
hard and be able to show what I did for it, instead of like working for someone else and have
Yep.
just hours to show.
It's very true. But I'm glad I got into it, because I never thought I was creative. The most creative thing I ever did in school was in sophomore year of Merrimack Valley. I was in Miss Cote's art class, and I did a watercolor painting of Rick Ross shirtless coming out of a Rolls Royce convertible. That was the peak of my creativity at the time. I always thought I was very like history, black and white, reading, writing, which I'm very good at. But being an entrepreneur, creating a business and like doing different marketing endeavors, charity initiatives, community organizing, that is very creative, right?
Yeah.
So being able to do that is beautiful, because as an attorney, I wouldn't be able to do that.
No.
I remember shadowing an attorney. They said everything's inside the box, which in a lot of times is good. But if you want to be creative, you can't be inside the box.
To relay part of that with like doing this,
Yeah.
I let coaching be an excuse on just to start and do this, because I was like, oh, like, kids won't respect you. Why would a school want to have you on staff? And
Yeah.
like you make up the excuses on why.
Yes.
But
And that's your subconscious trying to
yeah,
protect you.
exactly.
'Cause
Yeah.
your subconscious is like, you're safe right now in the box, don't go out.
Yeah, you're good.
So it's trying to come up and reason with excuses that are probably much worse than the actual reality, which is no one cares. And it's like that scene from Jurassic Park. I forget the scene, like what exactly you're saying, but the really fat guy in the Hawaiian shirt, he's like, no one cares. You know that meme I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Yeah,
That's life.
it's really tough to have to like go against yourself
Yep.
to better yourself. But
I was at Weir's Beach the other week. I was having fun. It was a friend's birthday party. So we were drinking a little bit, and it is Weir's Beach. And we did karaoke. So I got up on stage. I brought my friend with me, and there's lights everywhere and stuff. And, you know, she's like, what do you want to do? I said, I want to do, like, Rock of Ages, like Def Leppard. And I was just so thrilled and having so much fun on the stage. Like, I was just so confident, didn't care at all. And I was just a little out of it. So, like, words would come up on the screen. Like, I wouldn't even, like, sing it. Something would just come up, and I would, like, scream it. But it was, like, such a good time. And because I was just
Yeah.
so vulnerable and, like, having fun and, like, confident in myself, I had, like, almost, like, a mosh pit in the front. Like, everyone's just like, yeah. That's confidence. Like, if you
Yeah.
step out of the box and just don't care what anyone thinks. No, I think, like, I'm respectful and courteous of other people. But just doing what I want to do,
yeah.
like, that's how, like, progress happens and how we get to freedom, which is what we're talking about.
It does help. No, to do all of this, honestly, part of my perspective of like, oh, like, who gives a shit what anyone else is doing? Because you always go like, oh, like, what are people from back then are gonna think? What are these people gonna think? Part of my thought process was I'll say his name because he already said he'd be on, so you're not gonna get upset. And if you do, you're being a little bitch about it.
Okay.
Who wants to
Wow.
who game and rap
Yep.
and all that, and then like the handful of kids who like have started bands.
Yes.
So like in my head I was like, oh, all these kids are already doing like creative like stuff that like makes them happy. I'm like, what am I like, who gives a shit?
You're
Also,
hosting us
I don't
now.
see
you're our
anybody.
platform now.
I'm like, no one
Thank
gives
you.
a shit. But another question is, you asked us again what our goal was, and our response was just like, whatever happens,
Yes.
happens. You're in a different situation.
Okay.
What's your like 5-year plan? What's your goals for your
5 years.
Which is a long time. Like that's a
It's
big
not.
jump.
It's like Kenny Chesney says,
Really?
you know,
I feel different.
don't blink because you're going to be there. Like to think that, you know, high school was like 6-7 years ago now for me. I feel like I graduated yesterday.
I do agree.
I'll be there in no time. So when you say like vision, I have a lot of things. Like what particularly, or do you just? want me
What
to-
are
Personal, professionally,
okay? How?
narrow it down.
Hold on. When did I? You graduated what? Like 5 years ago?
2016.
16. Yeah. So it must have been 6 years. I
Yeah.
think I was 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So hypothetically, let's say there's a 15-year reunion. That gives you 9 more years.
Okay.
We went from 5 to 15.
That's even longer. I see.
I
Like
understand,
that's so far
but-
out. My life is going to be so crazy. I can't even.
That's what I mean,
imagine.
though. Is like,
I could be in the White House. I'm just
Chris,
kidding.
there you go,
Maybe.
White House. But like, what
You
are?
couldn't think of the year.
What are? Yeah, I know.
White House.
That was quick.
You were gonna try and do the math, and then you realize
Yeah.
like I can't count by fours.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4s are tough for sure. 4, 8, 12. Excuse me. But like, what are things you want to be able to have off of a checklist? Like, are you very time oriented on
Yes,
like
everything.
I want?
all my time's planned. This was planned. Everything that I do is in my planner.
I
Everything.
apologize because we've
Eating
canceled like
breakfast.
3 times.
We've moved. I moved
That's
times
okay.
twice tonight.
That's okay.
Just so everyone knows.
I don't
Terrible.
even remember. My life just goes. So we're here, and that's what matters. But everything I do is out of a planner,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I hate the excuse. People go, "I have no time." It's like, no bullshit. You have time. You're just you're binge watching Dahmer with that time.
That
and
is-
if that's what's more, it's
got
not a
called
bad
out.
thing. And people feel like shame and stuff when they say I have no time. That's really what it's like. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
like own what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's more important than whatever you're choosing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I don't choose to do that with my time. I choose to have it highly organized so I can, you know, run for, you know, a county position, run a business that's going to gross a lot of money in the very near future. Community organized, and you know the political world was disenfranchised communities. That's what I like doing, and it's a lot. But there's nothing else like I'd rather be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 15-year reunion.
Okay.
So they go.
Would they invite me to the 15-year reunion? At
I think it'd
Merrimack
be.
Valley?
I think it'd be. Oh, that's a good
They
When
question.
I
have to.
graduate.
They have to.
That's a good question. I mean,
If they don't,
they for sure need
be in the
to.
news,
I mean,
but-
now it's on file.
They'll be in the
I'm
news.
now
just
it's
kidding.
on file. I
Yeah.
mean, yours is. You're a year behind.
I
me, right?
almost feel like I don't belong. This is horrible at either Merrimack Valley or Co-Brown
That's tough.
because it is
Yeah, because you left junior or like
Junior.
after June.
like the end of sophomore year.
Oh, that's
like,
Where do you
all
like
the-
associate yourself more with?
yeah. What school do
I
you
have
like
no idea.
hold
Who's
down?
your ride with?
Just-
Who you riding with?
That's a
Co-
good question because someone coaches for.
Co
ri-
Brown and MV
can-
are playing.
Can
what
I
jersey
be?
you
Can
wearing?
I be honest with you? Like I
Ooh.
ride for both, and I hope they both ride for me. Like
That's fair.
seriously, like Merrimack Valley, that was my whole childhood, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And especially like being in sports and all that, to kind of have to leave like right at the end of high school, like that sucked.
I did feel.
You know.
I felt so bad. I
Yeah.
was like, damn.
Yeah. Yep. But you know,
Plus, I loved you. You were so
Oh,
funny.
thank you. I
Which
loved
is,
you too.
it's funny that you said you were like, I want to be a lawyer, but you couldn't do like influence and all that. Which, and you said you weren't creative, which I thought was interesting.
yes,
Because
I always thought I was the least
I don't
creative
think
person.
that.
Thank you.
I feel like there's another universe where you're part of like just a sketch show.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this is an outside perspective because like we lived in the same town, we took the bus together,
Yep.
and anytime like there were jokes and like we had classes and football together,
Yep.
anytime people would be in a group and anytime like you'd say something, like you had the perfect facial expression, right on, like the perfect cue, like I don't know, you just have like the right cue of like, and I felt like I saw you do different kind of characters of like people. I don't know. don't think you give yourself enough credit on how funny
Can I
and
be-
how creative you are.
Thank you for
because you
bringing that up.
definitely are. So
Where
let's
is
hype
the
you up,
camera
Loma.
looking at? I want to look right in the camera.
This one.
There's so many things I'm doing right now. There's also so many other things I could be
Ooh.
doing.
Yeah.
Here's like a little bit of like a death wish type thing. It's not a death wish, but if I ever get like just canceled, because I have to be concerned about that in this day and age. I hate cancel culture. It's disgusting. But if I ever get canceled,
Blame it on
I can be probably one of the funniest comedians there's ever been.
Yeah.
Truly.
I love it.
Truly. And like I thank you for bringing up the sense of humor. I feel like I do have a sense of humor. But again, like when I have like responsibility and stuff like that, it's time and place because it comes back down to respect.
For sure.
But if I had like one day lost everything because of cancel culture or something, I think I'd be a comedian.
Dude, that's doubling down. I love that. That's a good. That's a
Which
good game
honestly,
plan.
Yeah.
if I'm going to be honest, like if I had to buy a house from I mean, a house is a huge thing, obviously, and you want to pick the right people, and people are like, oh, let me go cheap, whatever.
No.
But like on who you go with, yeah, I know you.
Who wears Ralph Lauren.
Obviously, you have a different. But what I mean is like, if I was comparing I mean, I've bought a thing and I didn't look into the realtor at all. I let the other person do it, which was a mistake. She was nice, but I don't know. If I was buying property and was like comparing the two people I want to, this is also a young person talking, so I guess it's different because
it's not.
we're
like,
we're a small portion of buyers. But if I had to pick between two people and one person is just like, I'm a realtor, and you're like, no, I do this, I do this, I do this on the side, I do this on the side. I go, I like this guy way better.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like, it is exciting to hear you're like, oh, I got some stuff. I got some stuff I'm doing.
I feel like I live in a movie, to be honest with you. I feel like I live in a movie, and it hasn't even begun. Like, this is prologue. I tell people, prologue. That's all this is right now.
Yeah.
I haven't even started.
I like that mindset.
Wow. Careful the rest of the game. He's coming.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So back to like the 5-year goal.
Yes.
A lot could happen. I do have like a 5-year plan. But I think let me lead you up to there. Next year, my goal is to have my business gross $500,000.
There you go.
You're the
Real estate.
real estate. Yep.
David M. Lovelin Jr., Keeler Family Realtor.
Real quick, how is that separated? Is like
I'm a 1099. So in the state of New Hampshire, all real estate salesperson licensees have to by law be under a real estate broker. My brokerage is Keeler Family Realtors, which is one of the oldest brokerages in all of New Hampshire since
flex.
1977. Right? Experience, service, integrity for almost 50 years.
Huh.
So
Is
that's
it like
where I work for? I don't work for them. I work with them.
Oh.
But because we're 1099, we're independent
so-
contractors.
yeah.
Oh,
contract.
I did not know this.
But someone in Washington, D.C. wants to change that and make all 1099 people employees, but that's another topic
Not a good thing.
that I'm nay for. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something that would like just make you guys employees, not
Yeah,
independent?
and I don't want to be an employee.
Yeah,
That would kill
why?
all my creativity.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have
no.
any incentive. I'd go be a lawyer again.
Yeah.
Or maybe I wouldn't, and I would just
He'd be a
become a comedian.
Yeah, careful.
You know?
Careful. He's going to run this show off the
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah, and you could like rent out a space to me over there.
Oh my God. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Do you know how many? All right, here we go. I brought it up
here we-
3 different
You don't
times,
know
I think.
what can of worms you just opened up.
The amount of times I go by empty places, like lease buildings, and I'm like,
Yeah.
do you know how many studios I could put in there?
Yes.
I'm like, one day.
Yes.
But there we go. Hey, when this comes down, we're coming.
Yep.
I'll hit you up for
Get
a
an
lease.
investor maybe.
Yeah.
And then you run the thing.
There we
you
go.
know?
I've thought about that too. That's not a bad business, you know.
No.
Open up lease. Hey, do you want to open a podcast? Hey,
open
we'll rent out a space. There you
There's
go.
a
This is
need.
your corner.
There's a big need. There's a lot of realtors, but a lot of professionals in general that want to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And there's only a couple places to go, and I think it's wonderful that those places, are an accessible space for people to get their word out. There's a demand for it. There's a
Yeah.
demand for podcast studios. There's a demand for like social media studios and stuff like that. There is such a huge market out there right now with like, we live in 2022. Like there are so many new technologies, new ideas, new patterns, And, we live in a Goldilocks state. We're the second oldest state in the country. So a lot of that hasn't hit here yet, but it will hit here. So like entrepreneurs that go out there and innovate and get ahead of the curve, I think will make a lot of money and have success in whatever they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny seeing the businesses right now. Like me and my boss are pretty close, and she'll kind of talk about like, oh, it's tough. We have to like compete against like this company and that company that's paying people this much at minimum wage. And it's like, that's not like your biggest competition. Like if someone is access their creativity and their drive, what their thing is, you're about to lose because there's stuff you don't know about where you can make money right now.
That's the thing. And that's, again, goes back to my brand. Like people follow me. People would buy t-shirts. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And here's the thing. Like when I have my t-shirts made, I'm going to go through Bees Tees Screen Printing. Shout out. They are a New Hampshire-based screen printing company out of Keene. And he started as a high school college kid in Keene doing this years ago. And now it's a bigger business. But I don't just want like t-shirts and hoodies. I want something that like reflects me and my brand. So like I want rugby shirts. I want polo shirts.
I want a rug. When you make a rugby shirt, sign me up.
Where's the merch, man?
Yeah. It's expensive.
Oh yeah.
Because I can get cheap stuff.
Yeah.
But I will never have that associated with my brand.
Yeah.
Everything I do is high end.
Well, what would you do? Yeah, what would you do if you bought something from, I don't know, whoever whatever show you watch, and get it, and you're like, oh, geez, this fabric. So you never buy anything again.
I would wear it once. It would sit in my closet, and I would put it on like every once in a blue moon when I go to the gym, and then I would eventually throw it away.
If I got it and it was cheap material, I'd never wear it. If it was like shitty, I'd never touch it.
I'm heavier too, so like
it
was kind of like cheap.
Yeah.
But
that's like
these shirts don't look very flattering on me.
Yeah, these big guys. Yeah,
you bought me 2 t-shirts from one of our favorite podcasts, and they were shit.
I don't even remember what it was.
2 Bears.
Oh.
They were the worst quality t-shirts I've ever.
Oh yeah.
And they're so cool, but you can't wear them. I wore them snowboarding, and it was terrible. Like it's.
Well, I don't think people make t-shirts and they're like, wear this snowboarding.
Yeah. Well, no, it was under a sweatshirt. It was under a jacket. It was under a
whatever.
Like,
I want to, though. That's what I want to do next year for my business. Then at some point, I would like to move up to New London, New Hampshire, and live on the golf course up there. Like that's my dream. And then once I have that, like that's when it's like, okay, I own my home. I'm gonna have the cars I want. I'm gonna live in the area I want. And from that point, and this is probably 2 years from now, maybe 3, but let's say 2 years, then it's kind of like game time. And I'm investing heavily into my business right now, aggressive marketing strategies right now. But I'm going to do that with future businesses that I have. Like at some point, I think I would like to open up like a political consulting agency. Because I found myself actually really, really good at that. I'm just not getting paid. There's a lot of people right now coming to me for help on social media because they don't know how to do it. But I can show them how to use it so they can be top of mind every single day while their competition isn't. We'll see though if I end up doing that, because to your point earlier, like that's kind of hot water to get into, but it's stuff that I like.
Yeah.
I want to get into general contracting and real estate development. I want to build I would love to build an apartment building in the area at some point.
Yeah.
Houses, sell them, buy multifamilies, rent those out.
Big need for it.
And like that's where I get stuck, because I'm like, I'm gonna do all this in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not the apartment. Well, I shouldn't limit myself. I'm gonna do a lot in the next 5 years, but it's like, what more like is there? And there's always bigger and better. I do have political aspirations. Obviously, I'm running for county commissioner District 3 right now. But I think there's bigger things down the line. We'll just have to wait and see.
So are you? This was a question I had later down, but since we're there, you said you want to live on the golf course. Is New Hampshire it?
Yes.
Like, you don't want to live anywhere else?
No, I've been to other parts of the country.
Yeah.
And
you don't want to live.
They're beautiful, but there's no place, in my opinion, in the world better than New Hampshire. We're the live free or die state. Our falls are gorgeous. You know, we're one of the wealthiest states.
It's nice enough we get traffic
per capita.
because of it.
There's so much outdoors stuff to do. It's beautiful. It's a great place to like raise kids, because I would like to have a family at some point. We've got the ocean, the mountains. it's such a small pond too. I feel like if I was
Yeah.
in Boston or something like that, where I originally wanted to go, I don't think I would have had the success I had.
You get
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
It's not. There's just so
There's-
many people.
Yeah. There's so much
There's
distraction
more people
too.
in Boston than all of New Hampshire.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You know, so
Mhm.
I'm able to, for example, go to a country club and wine sipping GOP cocktail event fundraiser, and you know, buy a plate for like $100
Mm.
and sit at a table with like, you know, a senator or like whatever it might be, and we talk,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just like you and I are talking
Yeah.
right now, and you know, you start to meet people and you get out in the community and do different things, and you just start to kind of know everybody. And then with that, people are power. Like I always say, like you could be the best whatever you want to be in the world, but if no one knows about you, you're not going to make a dime.
Yeah.
People know about me. Like that's the power of the Mr. 603 brand. It's influence.
Mm-hmm.
The rapper Russ had a thing where
Okay.
he posted he put out a new song every week
Yeah.
for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And when he started to pop off, he had no name people like hit him up and are like how did you do it? Like I put out this album, but then and he was like, well, why did you put that out? It's like, well, because I need to put something to my name. It's like,
Yeah.
did you post something the next week? And he was like, no, I didn't put anything out. Like, I don't want oversaturation. He goes, no one gives a fuck who you are.
Yeah.
You're not oversaturating when no one cares who you are.
Exactly.
You can't oversaturate something no one gives a shit about.
Exactly.
So why?
And here's the thing. The power of social media and getting content out there, and like, so here's this real estate statistic, and it's probably different for, you know, different industries and different things like that. But I have sellers and buyers. And some people say, well, who are they? And this and that. It's like everyone's a seller or buyer. You own real estate, you're going to sell. Even if it's not on the market, because I come to you and say you want X price, you're going to sell if it's
Yeah.
good. And if I show you the perfect house, you're going to buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm spacing a little bit. Where was I going? Where was I going with
You
this?
had a stat.
I hear you too.
Stat, okay. Buyers and sellers, real estate. Sellers, their brain, when they think of realtor, 76% of people think of one person automatically, right? And that occupies about 76% of mental real estate. The second person they think of, I think, has around 26%, or probably like 18. It's definitely less than that, less than 20%. Then there's a small portion where it's just some random agent. So my point is this: people might know a lot of facts, might know a lot of things, but if you ask someone on the spot, they're only going to be able to think of one or two names when it comes to real estate. Buyers, usually a few more people might come to mind because they don't quite have the investment yet. Once you have the investment and it's emotional and you're a couple $100,000 or $1 million into something, then you start to care.
Yeah.
You know,
if it's
who
your
handles
money.
it, especially if you didn't have a good time buying it. When I post every single day, multiple times a day, sometimes to the point people unfollow me, and I'm okay with that. It just means they're not my tribe. There's no way for people not to know me.
Yeah. Because you're the
And
first
they see
thing
me
they see.
all the time.
Yeah, that's a T-shirt right there. You're not my.
You're
tribe.
not my tribe.
That
I
was
like that one.
awesome. That was good.
Thank you. I mean,
like that.
this is my
But
thing.
that is true though.
So many people, whatever profession it is, but in mine, like real estate, people go,
Mhm.
I can work with everybody, I'll service everybody, and it's like, okay, duh, that's obvious, right?
If you can help everybody, then you're helping nobody.
Exactly. My thing is this: I want to work with my tribe of people who value me, respect me, and I have a good time working with them and doing my job, right? And a lot of times people aren't that way. They want to do their own thing, and it's like, okay, you can do that. I'm not the person for you. Like, it's very much like personal. Do you know what I mean? You know, if you click and stuff like that, it really just comes down to respect, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that end of things, and that's why I don't care if someone doesn't want to use me, if they choose someone else. I go, thank God, because you're getting the professional or whatever industry it might be, the right person for you. Because I'm not going to be the right person for everybody, and I'm definitely not the right person for everyone else. In my opinion, for me. And that's why it comes back to the tribe. And when we start thinking about our tribe, like, who are the people we want to surround ourselves with? The energy. Do you know what I mean? The good vibes.
Yeah.
That just raises my quality of life, because there's so many positive people in my life. There's really not a lot of negative people in my life. It's very upbeat, like, go forwards. And we have the ability to choose that. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
They try to be cool with everybody.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, that's definitely something I think you learn as you start to get older. Is like, you can't service the people from the past you don't see. You can't service everybody, and the more you try to do both of those, the more you lose yourself, and the more you're people pleasing. You get less done because you're too focused. You can't take a step forward when you're making sure everyone's following.
Yeah. And that's people pleasing. And people pleasing is a disgusting thing to do. And it's a horrible thing to do, number one, to the individual self and to the other person. Because if that person's people pleasing, they're lying to themselves. They're not being true to themselves, to your point. They're being facetious. And number two, they're also lying to the other person. Yeah. That's not going to end in anything good. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's just good to be genuine. And I think a lot of times, like, in this day and age, people see especially young people, like, see so much, like, on social media, you know, the filters out there, do you know what I mean? The makeup, everything. And it's like this huge competition. I mean, even the stuff I do, I'll put filters on it. I'll do something where I look really tan and my teeth are really white. But it's like, that might not be real.
I literally uploaded a clip the other day, and I accidentally hit the wrong thing because I do this. I'm like, I don't care about filter. Like, who gives a shit? Yeah. And I accidentally swiped, and it was a clip on him, and the color, the green, popped a little more. I go, oh shit, that looked good.
That looked good.
That looks fire, bro. And do you know what that is though? That's art, and I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. Watch a movie. They use color grading all the time. Yeah. But the end user, if they have insecurities with themselves, which is a lot of people nowadays, they're trying to be that people pleaser. You know what I mean? Like, you walk into a college town, all the guys look exactly the same, like, at least the outfit and stuff that they're wearing, right? Yeah. All the girls are wearing denim and like that big brown hat. Do you know what I mean? And I'm generalizing, I'm being satirical.
No, but you're 100%.
You're not wrong.
No.
It's like, even if you look at yourself, think about yourself the first year or two you graduated from high school, you go,
what is that?
Oh, it was a old wedding gift.
Oh, wow.
And it's a bottle opener.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh,
that's okay.
Party foul.
Yeah,
that's probably the best thing that's happened.
They're used to it. Don't worry about it.
Refreshing.
But it's like
T-shirt.
Refreshing.
Quote unquote refreshing.
Yeah.
Mr. 603.
Dude, there's nothing you cannot put on a T-shirt that says Mr. 603 and then any quote. It could be anything.
Yeah, it's a really good nickname.
You can put anything on a T-shirt.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That gets into another discussion.
Yeah.
Anything, and it will sell.
That's like the football. Or so I coach at a different school.
Yep, Hillsborough.
Yep, and the
I'm a good listener.
He is a good listener. So our scout team, we call it the meat squad.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my. All right. Yeah, you should have seen the T-shirts.
Yeah. Okay. So I made practice T-shirts for whoever does the best on Meat Squad this week. Whoever gives us the best look at whatever, they get a T-shirt, and it's literally just ground beef, and it says "squad" on it.
That's fun.
That's sweet.
That's cool.
Wonder how many kids wore it to the game today? Mm-hmm. 4 kids wore that under their jersey this week.
And you know what else? They're going to probably remember that for the rest of their life.
They're going to have it forever.
And they're going to say that was fun. Because at the end of the day, that's what life's about. Having good experiences and having a good time. Yeah. Right? That's invaluable what you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is Coach Spinney forever.
Yeah. The Coach Spinneys are...
have you made T-shirts for your boys?
No, it's hard to. Well, we're not getting interceptions. We have 3 on the year. Let's step it up. We have a lineman today who got an interception, guys.
Hey, shout out. That's my boy right there.
Oh, man. Are you kidding me? He was D-line. No reason. Dropped into coverage. Got a pick.
So he messed up and got a pick. He got lucky.
I don't know why. He said, I saw all verts and I went.
Literally,
good for you, buddy.
Some of the best time in my life was when I played defensive line. Like, when I was in high school or, like, middle school. Yeah. Just, like, powering through, hitting the quarterback.
That's the tough thing is, like, with anytime I can tell, like, people who don't have interaction with football or anyone who has, because anytime, like, it somehow comes up, you can tell who's had someone impacted by it. Because, like, as soon as you say, like, oh, I coach high school football, they go, oh, yeah. And then they talk about whoever they know or, like, why you do it. People who have no interaction go, okay. Because they look at it as like, oh, kids get hurt.
That's
people
how
get
they
hurt.
look at it.
But it's like
conversations.
But
you're gonna get them killed.
I have talked to so many people and
go home, Karen.
Yeah, Yeah.
Like let
T-shirt.
Like that Hank Williams Jr. song. Leave them boys alone.
Yeah.
Do your own thing.
Yeah.
We get it. We've been doing it for over 100 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People get hurt. People get hurt driving. People get hurt doing a lot of things. You know, and it's like let the boys have fun. And the girls now, and everyone's playing.
But when you actually break, that's the other thing with like even other sports. Other people are like, oh, you just run around and hit. Is like no, like when you actually break down the difference between football is every game matters. With soccer and baseball and basketball, all these you can lose 10 games in a row, and it doesn't affect your season. Football, you lose 2 games that could ruin your year. Yeah. There's no brotherhood like football.
No.
Like, there's not one guy there's probably some guys who don't like me who would be like, I'm good. But, like, if I was like, hey, like, I need help doing this, or like, hey, there's something, you know, like, there's nothing like football. There's nothing like locker room camaraderie. There's nothing sweating, bleeding, and bruising with just your boys.
And that's the hardest part about football and that's why I think the sport's dying in a way, is it's the slowest turnaround. You have 1 game a week. It takes the longest for an outcome.
But that's the beauty of it to me.
I think a lot of things are dying. And I could be wrong. You guys are in the school system. I'm not. I think the generations now aren't very, like, for the most part, active like we kind of were. I remember even as a kid, I don't know if you guys remember ICB basketball. Yeah. I remember playing ICB basketball as a kid. There was like 4, 5, 6 teams. The last couple of years I played, like in middle school, there was like 2 teams. It was us and one other team, and like literally the whole season we just kept playing the same team.
You know what's weird?
You know what I mean?
They're not building on what's been there. Okay. They're creating more. Okay. I got a newsletter from our AD where they're talking about they just started a volleyball team. Okay. Oh yeah. They are starting. Oh, wow. Good. Yeah.
Wrestling?
No, starting a hockey team with Bishop Brady.
That'd be good.
They're doing they're like starting 2 other programs.
I'm glad to hear that. So
it is fine.
There's a couple really good hockey players that have been through MV and they haven't played any high
who have had to go to like Concord or something like that to play hockey.
I think it's usually Kearsarge. I think they usually have to go to
I don't know where. I'm just throwing out a name.
Yeah.
But
Co-Brown didn't have a football team.
No.
When I went there.
What? So, I thought they did. Who did you play for? I saw you
playing.
There
was a private league over in the Seacoast, and it was called the Seacoast Titans, and that was the team we played on. And the last year I was actually team captain.
So you went out of your way to find a team to play.
Oh yeah, because we really wanted to go to Co-Brown because Co-Brown was a family school. I mean, my grandmother went to Co-Brown. Oh, all my mom and all her siblings went to Co-Brown. So this was actually kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
But didn't have football, so we almost didn't go because like that was more important. To be frank with you, but we found the private league. We went there and we had a lot of fun, and there were quite a bit of kids on the team that actually went to Co-Brown. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we would travel quite a bit. There was like a team from Canada. I didn't get to go up there, but the year prior to me going there, the team did. There was Berlin. There was Colebrook. So we were driving like all over the place. Jesus. And one of the championship games.
Whoa! You won a championship?
2 championships.
Are you kidding? Do you have a ring?
I don't have a ring.
What did you guys get?
We got like a patch on our jackets.
Oh, that's lame. Yeah. That's like Joanna when she won the.
I had a lot of fun, but it wasn't like it was a private league. Like it was really fun.
Yeah.
But when you don't have like the school and like the stadium,
I
didn't have the Friday night lights.
It hurts. Yeah.
It hurts because I would have. I don't want to say killed because someone would get offended, but I would have been really good on the field. You know.
Yeah. It does. Yeah. It does. There's nothing. That's why I feel bad. Like I work with a kid who plays at Bow. And they rented lights this last Friday to play under the lights, because if your school doesn't have lights, like you don't get Friday nights unless you're playing in an away game.
I think Merrimack Valley is one of the best football fields in the state.
Yeah.
As someone who goes to a bunch of different fields, honestly, as much like crap everyone gives the MV and like
it's
their
come
sports,
a long way.
Our football field, which has boys and girls soccer, has lacrosse play on it, has football play on it. And as the last couple of years had JV games play on it.
And Pop Warner.
And at times other random sports play on that football field. Like that field is very good in the surrounding fields. Like we have great athletic fields.
I think I think so. I think I think even from viewing it from when I went there to where it is today, it looks like they've put a lot more money into things and invested. And I don't go to school there, so I don't know. I heard some interesting stuff with one of the bus drivers the other day. But other than that, like that's good.
I love Hanover's field.
Well, Hanover.
It's so electric on a Friday night.
Is that?
They're the Bears now. They're not the Marauders.
We were the Bears at Co-Brown.
Really?
Yeah. It was
Where's Hanover?
They have the
up
student
by
section.
Dartmouth. Up by Dartmouth.
They're in Dartmouth. That's why they're.
It's a nice field because they're rich up there.
Yeah. That's like when you go like Kingswood.
I think Hanover is actually the #1 high school in New Hampshire. I could be wrong, but I think it might be.
We do a jamboree at Kingswood every year, and
they used to be at Hanover.
Every time we go to Kingswood, we just look at. They have like 2 turf fields, and we're just like, lake money is nice, man.
I know.
But it's
lake money's the best money.
Yeah. But
David Michael Lovelin III.
Oh shit!
But
Lil
like
603.
But yeah, that's
Lil 603. Oh no! You just got him
I'll
a
have to
new
give
shirt.
you
I know now he's
for
gonna.
that.
So it's gonna be like the Christmas photo for a different family.
Yeah.
They're gonna buy your T-shirt to be Mr.
Yeah.
603, Mrs. 603, and then the baby Lil 603.
When you
So that actually is a good point. So for the brand, I realize not everyone can wear Mr. 603.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do Mrs. 603, Miss 603. That's a good one, Lil 603. Because I've been thinking like, what's a good one?
Sweet.
Like Lil Twee is what I had come up with an idea before. I'm like, that's cringe. So no,
Lil 603 is it.
So because I want it to be inclusive.
Yeah,
for sure.
You could do like
sick.
the 603.
Yes.
Duh.
Well,
Da.
yeah.
I don't get it.
Like the da.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm
Not everything's a home run, Cam.
Like, you gotta miss all the shots you don't take.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
But if you just start throwing the ball, then it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
I might
know.
be 1 for 57 right now.
Yeah,
But
you can't throw the ball on every play.
I completed it.
It's
I
like
completed
trying
one.
to take. It's like that kid playing basketball in middle school who every single shot it tries to take a 3.
Oh,
So
And
everybody now?
and then it's like, well, the kids now can do it.
Yeah.
You do what I mean? But back when I was there, I'm not going to say the name of the mother because we all know who she is and she's a wonderful person. We were playing in Franklin. Like I was in like 7th, 8th grade. I was insecure as it was. And I went to take a 3 and like there are a couple seconds left. And this mom stood up and she's like, no, Dewey. Because she knew I wasn't great. I was like the last kid to go out on offense. And it almost went in, and then everyone's like, "Oh!" And then it just bounced, and it was like, "Ah!" Oh. And then I just was so embarrassed, so crushed, like to this day.
I don't think there's anything
To
that
this day.
Wake up in a cold sweat.
Yeah.
nothing hits confidence like basketball.
Yeah.
Because doesn't matter what level
If you're not wearing
at.
the right shoes,
Yeah.
Any level you're at, though,
Yeah.
the crowd is right to your heels, and any shot you throw up, you hear. In football, you can be playing and not hear anybody. You can be yelling at a kid 2 feet away, and he doesn't hear you.
Can I tell you what? This is why I like golf. No one talks. If you talk, it's rude.
Yeah.
And if you make a nice little shot, they go,
Are you good? Are you any good?
Are you good at golf?
"No."
Yeah, that's true.
I like it because I
We all
can
gotta
go out
golfing
there.
then. We gotta go golfing.
I can go out there. I can have a Sam Adams or
Yeah.
2 any time of day, and I don't smoke that often, but I might have a cigar. Do you know what I mean? I've got the cigar lighter and the clipper, and I dress really nice. Like when I go golfing, like I literally, there was a tournament at Canterbury Woods this summer. I went to Brooks Brothers at Tanger and literally basically bought everything off the model, but
sure
like got
saw
off the rack in my size because the model's not double XL. So and then I went out there. Like that's why I like golf. I do a lot of business, so many people I know golf, and a lot of them don't even know how to play. But we just go out and like hit the ball, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun, but it's quiet.
Well, that's how you know how much someone's going to be honest. Like if you can trust somebody, if you go, "Are you good at golf?" and they're like, "I'm pretty good." You go, "You're never 50-50 of the time you're going to tell me the truth because I guarantee you're not good. No one's good at golf. If you're good at golf, you're playing pro and you're not talking to me anymore."
So I did lie. Well, I didn't lie, but because I don't lie. I was puffing, earlier in the year. Someone was like, "Are you any good?" And I knew they didn't play, so I'm like, "I'm okay," and I kind of like tied myself up a little bit. We go out on the course and I got nervous. I couldn't even like tee off. I couldn't even tee off, and they were like, "This is my first time. Like, what's going on?" And I'm like,
It usually
This is
takes a couple tries.
Yeah.
But with golf, and this is another reason I like it, it's half of it's in your head.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
fully.
all mental. So if you let like the quiet shit talking, like as it's really quiet and you hear like, you suck, he's not gonna make it, he's no good, like why are we doing this, the team behind us is waiting because he's taking too long, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it's like okay, let's just go to the next hole, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but you have to be confident. You really just have to focus, and it's not about hitting the ball hard. So many people think it's about, and you just have to be so relaxed and just, you know what I mean?
It's all mechanics.
It's a consistency game.
Yeah.
You just got to know where you are all the time.
Yeah, and that's why I like it. I like being outside, and now that I'm not, in high school playing sports anymore, and it's hard for me to go to the gym. I mean, like, let's talk about the time thing and stuff like that, but I'm on the road all the time.
Speak the truth.
You know what I mean? So golf is a good way. I never walk. I always get a cart. But like even when I'm kind of walking and then go back to the cart, I'm outside.
Walking's no fun.
Yeah, I'm
walking. Outside, and like I love it. And I haven't been, this time of year yet this year, and I need to get out before like they start closing.
I haven't gone once.
Yeah, I've gone a few times.
We'll have
with
to
my
go.
boss. Yeah,
We'll have to.
That'd be fun.
If you go, hey, are you any good? My answer is always, I'm pretty good at chipping onto the green. That's all my game is.
Good. If you're good at chipping on the green, I mean, that's a good thing.
You're good.
I can't putt for my life. It's awful. I should just tag out. Once there's been plenty of times we go and I'll chip it perfectly on and I go, I don't even care how the rest of this goes. I won't even go. I'll just be like, I'm good.
When I snowboard, I'm not great at it, but I do snowboard.
I'll snowboard.
That's an expiration date though. Like you can't. There's like a
you can't snowboard forever.
I think like after 29, you have to just give it up because you're just gonna actually hurt yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
I've
There's too many people.
Snowboarding.
There's so many people I know who could just get like really hurt. Our dad knows like people who died.
See, like for me, like I almost killed myself when I went skiing. That's why I don't ski anymore.
There you go.
That's why I snowboard.
Yeah.
Oh, snowboarding, yes. Maybe snowboarding is different.
See, snowboarding, I hurt my back.
I feel very in control when I snowboard.
I've only snowboarded. I haven't skied ever. I don't trust myself to ski. It seems like way too much.
Yeah. Remember
even though everyone says it's easy. Yeah. When we were younger, our family had a condo. Well, our grandmother had a condo in Waterville, and she lived there.
Nice,
so we would all go there for like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and
Nana's Christmas.
And she was our dad's Christmas. Dad's Christmas.
One weekend.
We'd all cram into a 3-bedroom condo.
Like 14 of us.
Yeah.
Like that.
But every once in a while we'd all go to the mountain.
Yeah.
And he was young enough where they didn't give him an option.
Okay.
On what to do. The rest of us were like, "Oh, well, snowboard. That's cool. Snowboarding's cool, dude." He got forced to do skiing because it's easy.
Okay.
And he threw the biggest fit of like, I don't want to ski. I don't want to.
They put me in like the day program for like learn to ski.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make it 30 minutes before they had to come pick me up.
Why? Was like your feet hurting or just like
no?
You were just
we didn't even get
out?
on the slopes yet.
We
were still in the
having
classroom.
A tantrum.
Yeah.
He was just. Like,
I was crying. They were trying to give me a bag of chips. I hit the chips. Like get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I
was the worst.
They didn't care about kids though.
No.
Because like, we brought a kid we went to school with, Brandon Westcombe, with us.
What's he's in the military right now.
He's
right?
out now, but
thank God, especially with the war ensuing. Like
he
hated it anyway. But we brought him. Our older brother, if you didn't know, his name is Brandon.
You guys were tight.
Still are. We still talk every day. But
that makes me happy.
Our older brother name is Brandon, and he lived with her periodically. So people in the town knew him. So when we went into this town, like if you had family who lived there, you got a discount on the lessons.
Okay.
So me, our sister Rachel, and Brandon Westcombe got put into classes, and they go, but we lied and said he was our other brother.
Okay.
So when they come in, they go, all right, Josh Spinney, Rachel Spinney, Brandon Spinney. They go, your name's also Brandon? We go, yeah. And they go, you have two brothers named Brandon? And in idiotic, also trying to be funny, I go, yeah, our parents couldn't think of another name. And he goes, all right, whatever.
Well, what a rude question for him
right?
to ask. Do you know what I mean? Is he going to start asking everyone's gender now? Like, is this not an inclusive resort?
As an adult, I probably would have asked the same thing, been like...
You should have been like, it's Braden.
Yeah.
They spelt it wrong.
You think you're going to get away with this?
Yeah.
He wasn't also trying to get us in trouble, was probably just trying to be like...
He was confused, because he probably worked with our other brother.
Yeah, like he knew him, so it was also like, you have another brother?
If it were me, I would have been like, Yeah, his name's also Brandon. Is there an issue? Do you have a manager? My Karen hair starts to grow out.
He was a guy from Chile.
Okay.
So our grandmother was hitting on him quite a bit. Okay. So that was
nice.
Fun. Yeah, she was like, "I love my men from Chile."
Well, good.
Well, yeah, good for her.
We were talking about experiences earlier. She made a memory.
Yeah, she was getting her Chile experience.
Good.
She's like, "I don't like the dish chili, but I do like some things from there."
Good.
But
Chile.
Yeah.
No. So I snowmobile a lot too. Every other weekend in the winter. Growing up, my dad used to race snowmobiles. Actually, at one point we had like 14 sleds, and a lot of them were like race sleds.
That's a lot.
He had a big trailer, and like you could live out of it. They had the bed, they had the heat, and we would put all the snowmobiles up there and go to the races. And I remember like Red Bull would sponsor. Like my dad would do the backflips and stuff. Rock Maple Racing, baby. And I remember being up there. This was little kids. I don't even think Spencer, my younger brother, was born yet, or maybe he was just a baby, but we were real young, you know?
The things you don't know about people, because this, I've known you for years, and this
I can sled, bro.
Information I've never known.
I vaguely remember that, because I remember the few times I stayed at your guys' house when we lived in Salisbury. Spencer and Jack, they were like, and Nick Hawkins. They were always on four-wheelers, and I was like, I don't know how to ride a four-wheeler.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
They're always on something.
That's
always doing something.
We'll go up, though, every other like weekend pretty much in the winter, and like we start in Errol, and Errol is like south to us, like that's north of North Conway.
Okay,
so it's up there, and we will go throughout Pittsburgh, and we even go to the Canadian border and turn around. But there is nothing like snowmobiling. It
is really fun.
We thought we were so cool for having two. Imagine having 14.
I know. Two, I crashed into a tree.
Oh no.
Yeah, our aunt and uncles had a house, and they had built a trail around their house because they had nice property, and at the top of the hill, the rule was you always had to wait. If you saw lights, you had to wait. Because the hill was pretty aggressively down, so you'd pick up speed.
So you don't want to like get in the way of anybody.
So like once you get down, it gets flat pretty quick. So if you're younger, if you're not putting on the gas, like someone's gonna fly down and just ram you. Yeah. I get to the top and I stop and I don't see any lights. I go, all right, I'm good. I come flying down and then I look, and my sister accidentally shut hers off, and my cousin was so close, her lights weren't
they weren't even showing.
Illuminating. It was just right against her. So in panic, I didn't know what to do. And I was like, instead of ramming her at 35 miles an hour, I was like, I hit a right and went directly to a tree. Had the classic like comedy snowfall down, and then being like, why would you do that? I was like,
not like, are you all right? Are you alive? Are you not bleeding out?
And it's like crazier because no one knew. Because it's like 2009, no one knew. They had to run up the hill to get parents, and then come down and be like, "What were you doing?" And I was like, "You're putting it the right person."
So snowmobiling, I love. I will say this: there's so many people out on the trail. A lot of tourists, and they're not bad people. And like, I think it should be fun. I think it should be inclusive. They like don't know what they're doing.
No.
And snowmobiling is very dangerous, especially on the trails. I mean, they're slim. Some guy was he was on the right, like he was supposed to be on the right side, but like he was just in the wrong lane to explain it, and he was coming right at me. I'm like, oh my god, and like I just stayed in my lane, thank God, and then he swerved back out. Yeah. But it's like that could kill someone. People get killed all the time. People a lot of times, like think they're cool. They'll get on a sled that has like a lot of power. I'm kind of like talking like I know something now. I don't know that much about it. But no, it is.
That's okay. I'm there all the
time. It's fun. But I went viral actually this last winter when I went up there. We were up in Pittsburgh, probably 10 miles away from the Canadian border. Cold, like we're doing 0 degrees. But like when you're on the sled, you're warm when you get the right equipment. And my dad, like he was way ahead of us, and then I saw him in the middle of the trail, and he had his sled off, and he's like motioning with him to slow down. So I was like, something's obviously going on in the trail. So I turn off my sled, and I'm like what? And he's like, look up ahead. Huge bull moose, in the trail. Oh, yeah. So what do? Mr. 603
Mr. 603
whips out his iPhone and immediately starts recording. Misses the whole moment because I'm looking in my phone, but I'm recording it. And then a female one, I think, came out, and they started like frolicking and stuff, like playing. And then, I took like the 20-minute video, condensed it down to like 20 seconds or something, and like it went viral. And then, it actually, the next day it went on You Local New Hampshire. And because I was up there, I wasn't watching the news, but I had a couple people say, hey, that's so cool. Mr. 603's TikTok is like on You Local and stuff like that. And then I forget, this is so bad, but I'm forgetting the name of the other media outlet.
Better not be
but
Fritz.
They reached out to me. They reached out to me and they're like, oh my God, this is so cool. Can we like feature this? And I said, sure. And they're like, so in your description, like it says they were playing, but they're like fighting sounds more. So I was like, I'm not a scientist. I'm like, you say whatever, whatever you want, you know.
I'm not a zoologist. Look, you know, I don't know my moves.
If there's two things Mr. 603 knows, it's animal behavior and snow and sledding.
Yep.
Look, I don't know what moose do. I don't know playing and fighting.
But like that was so cool, and like they even shouted me out as Mr. 603, like in the article. So like that's the stuff that snowmobiling brings, and the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen in my life is on top of a mountain. Because when you're up north, like it's all mountains. You get to the top, like a bald cap, it's golden hour.
Yeah,
the sun, it's orange, everything's gold. It doesn't look real, and you're up there and you just look at it, and it's like this is the most peaceful thing ever. Like, forget about money, forget about everything. If I could have that all the time.
Yeah,
that would be where it's at.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's snowmobiling.
Yeah, that's snowmobiling in a nutshell. Right. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. But
okay,
we're gonna talk our shit.
Okay, right. So we're pausing.
No, you can keep going.
No,
I'm just gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is where you can talk about how bad of a host he is.
Are we still live?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still recording.
So ask me a question. I do better when I get a question because then I ramble for like an hour.
All right. We're going to go. Do you have an experience with a buyer or seller that you don't have to like name anything super specific, but just they had no idea like what they wanted, what they were looking for, and you really just had to like take the show?
Honestly, you know, it's different for a lot of people. Some people don't care. You know, they just want a house. Some people are very specific. Some people think they want one thing, and then they end up falling in love with something else. What I always tell them is I'm here to advise, keep guardrails up. But at the end of the day, I always let them know it's your choice.
Yeah.
A lot of buyers will ask, you know, what do you think about this house? Is this the right house? And it's like, I'm not you. I can't answer that. I can tell you, you know, the position you are in the market. I can tell you what that playing field looks like. I can tell you where it is in the price range where everything's been sold. I can tell you, you know, if there's any contingencies or any things that maybe you should look further into that might be, you know, not in your best interest. I'll give you all the information I can, but it's up to the individual to come to the conclusion of what they want. And that's hard because I think it's a huge decision, and some people they want to make it, but they want to make sure it's like the right one. Yeah. You know? But I will say this, when I'm working with buyers, especially like a first-time home buyer that's never done it before, it's usually very exciting, but it can be sometimes be terrifying. So I help them make sense of it. So they're like, oh, this isn't that terrifying. You know, we'll follow the process and procedure and we'll be good. You know, when we walk into the right house, they know. I know. They get a feeling like inside, and they look at me and they said, David, like this is the one. This is the one. Yeah. This is the one. And then, you know, I draft a contract, and, you know, we review it, and the review team reviews it. The client reviews it. They sign it, and then we, you know, try to make a deal.
Yeah, that's definitely how it would be, because I feel like going into it, I would be like, oh, I don't care what, like, there'd probably be a few things I'm, like, really picky about. Yeah. Everything else I wouldn't care, but as soon as I walk in, I'm going to know. Yeah. But the whole process, just who I am, I want everything broken down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know exactly, like, what do we need to do in order just to see the house? What's the next step? Like just
well, so that's
broken down very simple, but I want every detail.
And that's where I come in handy. And, you know, because of not just who I am and the hard work I've put in, but truly my firm being one of the oldest in New Hampshire's, I have access to so many resources. So when I counsel a client, we are able to explain things to them and give different perspectives that other people in other firms just can't, because they haven't been in it, you know, that long. So I'm blessed to be able to be part of that firm. But I also tell people there's so many people that it takes to close the deal. I'm kind of like the orchestrator, if you will. and I'm the only one in the contract unless there's an attorney that has a fiduciary role, which is the same thing that you have with a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. Everything's confidential and whatnot. But I will refer them to a mortgage lender. You know, I can refer them to an accountant, financial planners, inspectors, attorneys, and we have a team. So the team brings it to closing. I'm not the guy that pretends to know everything. You know what I mean? I know a lot about a lot, but my bread and butter is real estate. So when they ask a real estate question, I say, I work with the best attorneys in the state of New Hampshire, which I do. You know, here's their number, call them. Do you know what I mean? Or same with bankers and stuff like that. And that's how we're able to answer your question and break everything down and make sense of it. Yeah. You know, so many people don't even know, like, they don't even have to buy a property in their name. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't buy a property in my name. I would want to keep it confidential. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with not keeping it confidential, but I would have some sort of LLC or trust made, you know, that way I could keep my privacy. Yeah. You know, it's things like that people don't even think of, you know, or it's like there's different loan programs, and that's where it's good to go with a certain type of lender. You know, it's going to put you in the best program, not just what's going to make them the most money.
Yeah. And I like that because that's something like what our dad says, and not that they're smarter, they just have an expertise in a certain field. Yeah. But he always says, I'm not the best at what I do. I love what I do, but I bring people in that are smarter than me to do what I need to get done. And I don't know, I think that's kind of the...
don't pretend to be smarter.
Yeah, no.
Like, so many...
let the person who's an expert...
Smart, it's not having
It's having an ego. It's having an ego. It's having an ego and being a jerk and being selfish. And that's not what it's about. Like, if you're serving someone, especially in anything, but especially with, you know, I got a referral on Friday for $1.5 million, a buyer, right? Commercial financing to buy some sort of commercial property. This isn't like buying a gallon of milk. You know, like, we need to take it seriously. And there's some people that try to be the big shot or this and that, and in all industries, and in anything. Yeah. I mean, you know, the gym class hero is probably the best way to explain it, you know, like back in high school. But I don't try to do that. You know, it's calm, cool, collected, stay inside the box. What is the process and procedure? You have a question that's not in the real estate realm, it's in a legal realm, financial realm, wealth management realm, you know, contracting realm. I have a great team, and we'll bring them in. Yeah. You know, and it's fun because I like making the call. You know, I like being the knowledge broker. I tell people, you need a bodyguard. I know security companies. Do you know what I mean? You need a private investigator. I can get you one of those. I don't know why these ideas are coming to mind. You need a plumber. I can get you a plumber. You need an electrician. You need someone to clean your house. I know everybody. And that's what I like most about my job, or one of them, is being kind of like the conduit to anybody. Like, for example, someone might be talking about, oh, I want to get my message out there. You know, I could say, well, you know, I know a podcaster. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know? So that's, you know, back to your question, like how we break it down, you know, in a very boiled down way. That's how we do it.
Is there like ego in the industry of like, I sold a $2.1 million house. Like,
okay.
Is there, so there's no one give like,
so I'm not
what's your biggest positive to it, and what's your biggest negative? Like, if someone right now is like, like I kind of want, like, for me, I always thought our mom should be going to just realtor because she loves houses, she loves that, and she loves helping people. But like
just taking care of her, you know.
But like that's something I always thought she should do. But she's like, the driving, like.
We do drive a lot.
Yeah, inconsistency. Like, what to you is like the biggest positives and the biggest negatives? Because like, there's got to be negatives.
There's negatives. Yeah. And there's positives in anything. So positives first, because I'm a positive kind of guy. The biggest positive for me is freedom. You know, like, it's more than just business to me. And I'm at a point now in my life where financially I'm very well, and it's like, what more? And like, that's kind of what the level I'm on now. And, you know, at the core, it's helping people. But I feel, and I always tell people this, like, that's a very shallow thing. What is it about helping people? Because, you know, you're helping someone check out at the grocery store. You're happy helping someone, right? For me, where I get my kicks, and this is the greatest positive thing of real estate, is being the professional that does a high-end job, can close deals, can really go above and beyond. And I get paid the more I solve complex problems. What I do is I solve puzzles. Okay, that's what I call them. I don't call them problems. I call them puzzles. That's and nice. The more complex puzzles, I worked on transaction for almost 2 years. No realtors even, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people don't even know that some transactions can take that long. It was tied up in court, it takes a lot of complexity and a large team and a lot of time and patience to get that. And when the deal closed, my client didn't even say anything. Well, after we left the closing room, he looked at me and he just came up and hugged me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like providing extreme value to the marketplace. So yeah, that's helping people, but I love being the best. Okay. Now the negatives, I work 7 days a week.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Like people say, oh, I worked overtime. It's like that's my life.
Yeah.
You know, like if I have half a day off, that's like a weekend to me.
You don't like clock in or out, right? Like, or you just, it's just.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But see, that's the cool part is like
go.
How we talked about earlier is like independent. Like I'm not working for hours. Like what I put in, I control what I get. That is nice though. Like anything you get, you go, yeah, I worked for this. Here's the proof on what I did. I provided. This is what I get.
But I feel like also with you, whatever you're doing, it's work. Even if you're out having a good time, you're bowling. That's work for you.
Yeah.
Because
this is work for me. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to be out there, Mr. 603, Mr. 603. This is what I love about real estate. Yeah. This is the brand.
But your life is work, and you love your work, and that's what's awesome.
I love my life.
Do you think you'll always be in real estate?
100%. I'm gonna be. There is no if you don't own oil, the next best thing is to own real estate, and oil is real estate because it's the subsurface rights.
But like selling all that. Like, do you think you'll always be doing what you're doing right now? Really? Wow.
What about your own brokerage?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
See, look,
I will say this. If my plans are this. If I open my own brokerage, I want it to be under Keeler Family Realtors. I have the utmost respect for this firm, and I would like to continue the relationship.
So it'd be like a sub-faction of it almost?
So when a company grows, you just have different locations. But in the state of New Hampshire, to run an office, you have to have a broker out of that office. At some point, I would like to open up a Keeler Family Realtors, next 5-year thing, in New London.
Yeah.
And I would like to service the Lake Sunapee area. I would like to service the 89 stretch of Merrimack County, Henniker, Hopkinton, Bradford, Sutton, Ware, Newbury, New London, that whole area right there. And then parts of the Upper Valley. But that 89 stretch down to Concord is my favorite place in the world. Yeah. So that's where I primarily want to, service. I'll go all over, right? But like that's my zone.
Yeah, I love Hopkinton.
I'm surprised. Just from an outside perspective, even before today, but especially after today, I'm like, if in 10 years you're still doing like selling houses, I'd be blown away. I feel like there's so much, like, you're entertaining, you love creating, which lately I'm just gonna say is I feel like your social media and just your output is not less houses, but it's more personal and it's more like my day-to-day. Like, I feel like you're just a creator.
He's an influencer.
And I don't see...
I take that as a huge compliment.
No, I do. And I mean it as... I don't think influencer is the right word because it might be just me on how I think.
I call myself the community knowledge broker. That's the term I use for myself.
There is that, too. You do know a shit ton of people. Is that what you think
your title would be? Like, if you had to really zone in on what you are, that's like...
Community knowledge broker.
You do know a shit ton of people. Like,
I know everybody. We bought
Birkenstocks.
Birkenstocks.
We bought Birkenstocks.
Oh,
I bought my mom Birkenstocks.
Yes.
And no joke, a week and a half later, you posted something about being in the shop and you knowing the guy, and I was like, the fuck, man.
Oh, that guy was awesome.
He was so cool.
He is.
I don't know his name, but he's so knowledgeable. And then I walked away and I was like, this is what he always posts about, is all these people you don't know about, you don't realize, who are so knowledgeable, creative. You really do bring a light to a bunch of people I didn't know about. And I was like, oh,
Fritz.
No, next level. Like he's done well with what he's done.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is my own thing. Yeah. That makes sense.
There's
a lot of similarities. There's a lot of influence.
Ground.
You know what I mean? But I'm doing my own thing.
It's boots on the ground. Like you're getting to know. Like
I would like to model, and like that's kind of what a lot of that stuff is. You know.
I just feel like I think, like I said, you're funnier. You're stop with your bullshit. You're creative. Get over it. You're fucking creative, man. Just say.
I know that now.
Okay,
I know that now. I didn't know that growing up. Now I know, like, I'm very creative.
Yes.
You know, like my mind is like rainbows and color and everything and just everything.
And you're out of the self-conscious. What are people going to think? Like,
Yeah.
you're out of that phase. So
I don't even relate with it anymore. Like,
that's
when
what I'm
people
saying.
say, what are they going to think of me? Like, I don't even relate.
Who cares? Yeah.
You know?
And I think you're going to build and create a lot more.
Thank you.
I think there's a lot more that are going to come. And I
Yeah.
mean, I know there's a lot. I mean, I don't know, actually. I don't know how much money is in realty. I'm sure there's a lot. But
As much as you want.
yeah.
That's what I love about real estate. I live in abundance. My mindset is abundance mindset. And I believe I can do and have as much as I want.
I think you're going
That's
to,
it.
I feel I would like in 2 years, we'll sit down again and
I'll be in Congress.
that would be amazing. Although if somehow
Honestly,
if you
can I
get
make a
somewhere big
statement?
and
Can I
we
make a
fuck
big
it up,
statement?
if we fuck it up for you, I'm going to be, I will
No,
feel so
see,
bad.
the reason why no one can screw it up for me is because I'm very honest, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm always going to be honest. I'm going to be respectful, and I'm going to own my mistakes, but I'm honest, and I'm never going to lie. And if people don't want me for whatever, then it just means it's not me. It's
Yeah.
someone else. But I'm going to make a bold statement.
Okay.
So you guys aren't very familiar with politics, but
Zero.
we just had a primary. The general election is November 8th, 3 weeks away. We live in congressional district number 2. There's 2. There's congressional district 1. We live in 2. So the incumbent in Congress is Congresswoman Annie Koster. Are you familiar with Annie Koster? Yeah. Okay. So I won't say anything about her. I don't know her personally, so I'm just gonna leave it there. And then Bob Burns is in my party, and Bob is a great guy. I don't know him well. I've met him a couple times at different events, but he's a good guy. But I will say this. Sometimes I think I should have ran for Congress CD2 this time around.
There we go.
To be totally honest.
Yeah.
What's the time frame? Like, when does that
If
loop
I ran
back?
for Congress CD2 this time around, I would have won.
When does it loop
November 8th,
back?
and I would be Annie Kuster.
What's the...
Can I tell you why? And
Yeah.
all due respect to her, I don't know her.
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day, and she was asked a question about inflation
Mm-hmm.
and the energy costs. And she, there was a potential pipeline coming to New Hampshire. I know nothing about it, okay? But it would have, more of the product would lower the price. So the pipeline in that sense would have been
Yeah.
good, okay? And she said, and this is very recent, something to the effect of, well, we shut it down. It's not green energy, this and that. And New Hampshire residents, yeah, I get it's expensive, but we need to move towards more green options. And when I heard that, I go, I'm a very environmentally friendly guy. I'm Mr. 603. I love the woods better than anyone. I'm the biggest tree hugger. But I also grew up working class.
Yeah.
And there was a point where my family growing up didn't have heat in the house. We did wood. Do you know what I mean? So I know what it's like to wake up and all the water's frozen. And it's a good day, like, if you can take a shower. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is screwed
Yeah.
up, like in the winter. So when I hear a very wealthy, very powerful, liberal woman who has a lot of privilege in this day and age say the average New Hampshire person, in essence, should just get over it and go with the windmills, it's offensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure she's done a lot of good. I don't know her. But that statement right there, I said, wow, someone like that doesn't resonate with New Hampshire voters.
Well, especially with
maybe the country club, white wine, sipping, gated community living
Yeah.
people, which I have a lot of friends there, and I'd like to be one of them one day. But I really resonate with working class people because I grew up, and I'll never forget those roots. And when I heard her say stuff like that, I go, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, especially with this state,
You
like
know.
a lot of this state is like that, where you cut your own wood, you burn your own wood. Like that's
Exactly.
it. That's your source of heat. That's
Exactly.
your source of this. Like, there's a lot of this state.
There
that's
was
like
a
that.
family, I remember, I'm not going to say the name, but they're local. They're in Pennacook. They're literally 2 minutes up the road.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack was at their house one time. And I went to pick him up. I was just 16, got my license. We had moved at this point, but he was hanging out, so I was driving out this way. And it was winter, and I walked in, and the mom was like, "Oh, shut the door." And she's like, "We don't want to let the heat out," which New England, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go in, and she's like, "I'm sorry, we can't really afford heat." Like, so she's like, "We're heating," and she pointed to the oven in this small little
Oh my
apartment.
gosh.
They were heating the house, with their oven. Like they didn't have any other heat, and in the
Jesus.
doorways there weren't even doors. I remember they had blankets, coming down, to keep it warm in that one room, and that was it. So I take that fast forward today and I relate it to her statement: just get a windmill. And it's like, well, there's people heating their homes with ovens.
Yeah.
And this is like about 10 years ago. Not even. So it's like, I don't know. So when I think of stuff like that, and when I see politicians say the stuff they're doing, and with the connections I have and stuff like that, I go, maybe I should just run. You know? You know, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm not making any commitments now.
Yeah,
but there's thoughts. Everyone sometimes has thoughts about different things. These are some of my thoughts.
That is tough. Is that a lot of stress though? Because like, I look at it and I'm like, wow, this dude could do so much in like creativity, all these other avenues outside of this. But then like you did say, like I got a lot of political like aspirations. I want to do this. But
I will tell you what drives me.
There's a lot.
When I go through Manchester, which is rare because I don't like Manchester for this reason, and there are dozens of homeless people like overdosing in the street, going to the bathroom in the street, just living out of the box like downtown, and everyone's just walking by like, oh, this is normal, like just don't look at them. Like, to me that's weird. Like, to me that's psychotic. Like, to me, like, our society in that aspect psychotic to think that this is just normal, and it's like it's not normal. And like that's kind of some of the inspirations to run, because honestly, like, I'm doing very well. I have a great business, it's gonna grow, and I could just focus on that. But when I see people like suffer like that, like in the local communities, I feel like, well, you know, I grew up here, I work here, live here, play here. I feel in a way it's also my civic duty to kind of do something. Yeah. So right now that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with the commissioner election, which will be wonderful. It's not the political realm, but I said, hey, you know, I can help, you know, this county. This is what I can do, and I'm excited to do that. Yeah. But the future, we'll see.
Wow, you're such a better person than us.
Yeah, I know.
No, I wouldn't say that.
My bar days, we were at a specific bar, and across the street was a park, and some guy OD'd, so they brought the fire truck, ambulance, all that, and they were also like loosey-goosey about it, Narcan the guy. Yeah. And there were people at the bar who like we kind of knew just from going out, and we're just like, yeah, whoa, let's go. We were just like, holy shit, man, like that's what it. But it's the same thing as like, I mean, honestly, like we just kept it moving. We were like, well, that's that guy's problem. Kept it moving, and it's like, you're much better. You want to change it. We were just like, well, that's that guy's life.
Well, there's always going to be stuff.
Yeah,
But we've reached a level where it's gross. Like, I'm sorry, there's certain parts of like I don't even frequent because it's gross. Like, I don't want to see someone overdosing. Like, I don't want to like I'm. Do you know what I mean? And that's horrible. That's sad, and we need to help them. But it's reaching a point now where it's like the world, I feel like, has changed so much from even when we were growing up. Like, so much.
I mean, just if
I don't recognize almost the world we live in today.
Within
like,
the last
different.
3 years, I feel like it's a big change.
Just with COVID alone.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
so like
actually,
all those reasons, but I also see like there's a lot of ways we can innovate and things can be better, and it's kind of like this coming of age, like passing of the torch thing, and like it's our generation's time to like kind of step up and grab the torch, if you will, which is exciting because this happens every single generation.
Yeah,
and now we're next, you know, so that's exciting as well. But lots of endeavors. So there's a lot of thinking I've got to do. The business and the clients is first, obviously. Until I win, you know, on November 8th, then I have that other equal responsibility. Well, they are. So I should say, you know, they're separate and they're both very important. But I'll have a lot of responsibility at that point to two parties. You know,
until I win. I love that little like.
Yeah, I'll win.
Right, Tyra? Let's go, buddy.
I would like. I think I'll win by a couple thousand votes. I could be wrong. It might be tight, but I haven't seen a single sign from my opponent. I would like to meet my worthy opposition, but I haven't seen a post. I haven't seen a sign.
Yeah.
I don't even know his phone number. So.
I'm honestly,
and I mean that.
If I'm going to be honest,
hit up Mr. 603.
I don't even know who you're going against, and don't say it. Like, let's not even give the name some love. Let's not do it. I don't even know.
I
who
give him love. I won't say it, but like he.
Okay, I was gonna say I'll bleep it out.
So this is one thing like I want to say politically. Like we live in such a divisive time. I don't necessarily believe that it's always a win-lose situation. I believe it can be win-win. Yeah. I don't know the other individual because I haven't seen anything, but I would assume that there's somewhere inside of them that wants to do better, that wants to make change, and those are the same reasons I am. So I give respect, and I feel like today, like if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, you immediately start attacking each other. You know, and there's gonna and you know, this position is not a political position. I want to keep it that way. But if I decide to run for House or a state Senate, well, I can't run for state Senate. I got to be 30, but I can be 18 to run for House. That's totally different, man.
Yeah.
On one side of Concord, you have one party, and they're searching, trying to dig up dirt, and then you have the same thing going over on the other side of town. Yeah.
Do you
and I don't
in
like
all
that.
of your endeavors so far, do you feel like you've been not blackballed, but not taken serious or had to prove yourself more?
No.
For being so young?
No.
Because like there are times where like I see you post something, I'm like, I wouldn't feel like they take me serious if I'm there. And I'm like 2 years older than you. And
so
I'm like,
I always thought in my head what you're saying. What I was thinking in my head was never true. That was just my voice talking to me. Since I've started valuing myself like to a core and understanding where I'm at, it's not me trying to get someone's respect. If anything, it's the other way around. And I mean that all due respect.
Oh, I like that because I think
But here's the other thing. I don't even like that. I wish all people had enough self-respect for themselves where they didn't have to people please, which is what we were talking about before. Just be you. Just be you. Do you know what I mean?
Love that.
Do you I'll completely throw this out, but I have another one right
Thank
there.
you.
In case
I
you
noticed that. I took a sip and I'm like, it's dry. And then like the first thing I saw is like liquid. Like
I grabbed another one. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to like put him on the spot and make him feel like he has to keep going.
Speech tonight, but
yeah.
Hey, we can get a speaker down here.
Is where's speech the spot for you? Hold on. This is a double question for you. One, what's your favorite like spot? Because like.
So for what?
Manchester,
like, I do
for me, like if I'm like I want to have like a real good time. For me, it's Manchester because I got like old memories there. For me, it's like there's so much nostalgia for me.
Did you grow up there?
No, but my like time of drinking and having fun and like having a blast. Like for me, that's the location. Like I would just bar hop. We'd go down the street.
I've done that. Like back in college, I bar hopped a few times in
every
Manchester,
summer,
and it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but even today, like sometimes people will invite me out to Manchester. I just don't go.
Yeah. So I'm turning 21.
But
later this month.
for me, every weekend we would go. Even some during the week, we'd go and we'd start at the Moose, and then we'd just slowly work our way down to the Pint.
So
and
I'll tell you,
towards the end is mischief, but like that's how it was. Yeah. But this is a two-sided question. Okay. Is what's your spot? What's the fun of it? And it kind of jumps back because you already talked about where's, but like when you do go out. When I went out, I had no pressure. I didn't give a shit what people thought of me. Yeah. I didn't care what I looked like. I was dancing in the rain in black jorts while a fire truck drove by for an emergency in the pouring rain. I didn't give a shit what people thought of me. But as someone who like is building something, like do you feel pressure on like how I'm looked at in public? Like God forbid something like this video of me looking crazy, like
responsibility. And respect. I'm not in college anymore. Like, and I think people should party in college. I think it's a great way to meet connections, and I think people should go out and have a good time. And I have nothing against that. And I did that, and I still do it. I don't do it as much, and I'm grown up now, and I've learned there's things that are good and not good, and there's a time and place for everything. So, I still will go to, I do karaoke here and there. You know what I mean? Like Def Leppard at Weird Speech. But, and I have fun. But there's a time and place for everything. And I'm very young. And I don't want to say it's a lot for me. But it's kind of like, I explain it like this. And I don't mean this like an egocentric way at all. I kind of feel in a way like a prince. Like I'm so young. I've done so well for myself. And I know that there's so much more that I don't even know about that God's going to be good and like give to me. But it's almost like it's going to come, to be the king, if you will, like either way. So that's all. It goes back to the expression, he who wears the crown has heavy shoulders. So it's always like, I want to be myself. I want to have fun, but I'm responsible for a lot of things now. And I always, people look up to me. What I might say in college, no one would remember. I say something now in front of a group of 50, 100 people. I need to be very, aware of what I'm saying because people listen to me now.
Yeah.
People hear me. I have followers. And that's an awesome thing, and I love it. I've also learned that words have power. I'm not the PC police. I say whatever you want. I don't know when the censorship of speech became a liberal thing. I don't think that's liberal at all. I think I'm a classical liberal in a lot of ways. I am so pro free speech. It's not funny. Now I think there's a time and place for everything, but like I'm about that. And I think we can do that and I can do it. But when I do it, it's like I have responsibilities, and how does it reflect responsibilities? But I still have fun. So like when I go have fun, my go-to spot is Bernie's Beach Bar over in Hampton. Have you guys been there?
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like a club. It's on the beach. There's a stage. There's live music. That's where all the young people go.
I know what you're talking about.
Do you know what I mean? It's a blast. I mean, we'll have to go. And it's a lot of fun. It's like a club, but on the beach. Mm-hmm. And then after you leave there's different bars you can go to, a new karaoke, and you're on the beach. So it's just very fun. So that's like my go-to like spot when I'm trying to have fun in the summer. Mm-hmm. Now on the daily, like if I'm just trying to like get a bite to eat, the Red Blazer in Concord, New Hampshire all day long. Their
Red
Reuben
Blazer
sandwich. That's my go-to. Hey, I'm there at least twice a week.
Hey, the Blaze, you guys got some good grub.
Yeah. So Bernie's Beach Bar for fun, the Red Blazer for just like the regular.
Where is this again? The Bernie's Beach Bar?
Hampton.
Oh, okay.
Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I will say this: Casamigos in Concord, New Hampshire is like my favorite spot ever.
Casamigos.
It's right next to the Market Basket, right? The third one. Yeah.
Yep.
Do that.
Wait, which Market Basket?
Fort Eddy.
By the Lowe's.
I think it's where Radio Shack was. Is that where
Radio Shack was? It was the Chinese buffet that was at the end of the thing.
I didn't know it got replaced.
Wait, what is this? They've been gone for so long.
What is this?
So Casamigos is a wonderful Mexican restaurant.
It's a chain, and actually.
Is it like a sit down or is it like
their
a
second
takeout?
location? So they started in Tilton, New Hampshire. That's their OG spot, and it's still there, and it's wonderful. And I don't know the story, but they opened up in Concord within the year, and they have the best Mexican food I've ever had.
Is it like a sit down?
Yeah,
or
sit down. It's
sit down.
It's
okay,
casual.
it's not
very
like
family friendly.
Okay, all right.
Good drinks, good people.
It's pretty close to authentic, I would say too.
Huh.
I don't know, but it tastes good.
I don't know if I can feel, but is it?
Yeah.
I just like
it.
Funny. So like for bars and stuff like that, like those are my go-to spots. But like, I don't like a lot of people's idea of fun is like going out partying, drinking. Like I don't, believe it or not, I don't do a lot of that. Now when I do, like I have a lot of fun, but it's like once in a blue moon, So my kind of fun is work, to be honest with you, or charity initiatives, or campaigning. I've had so much fun with just meeting people, speaking, listening. So I don't know. Those are my places, I guess.
This is really like out of a left field question, but it's something I really like.
I like these questions.
It's
like a surprise.
When you said yes to coming on, I was like, all right, this is something I want to know. I mean, I showed you our other studio, which I don't know whenever that's gonna come up.
Yeah.
Whenever we're gonna whatever. We listen to a lot of like scary stories and horror stuff, and when you said yes that night, we listened to something, and it was talking about like one of the alternative stories for Amityville Horror House. Horror House, sorry.
Okay, horror.
No, I mean, they're kind of the
brothel,
same.
Baby.
Not a lot of good things happen.
This is an interesting horror story.
Do you know the Amityville Horror House? Horror. Sorry.
I don't know.
Okay. It does either way. It's like one of those like murder whatever houses.
Okay.
One of those super famous haunted houses. If it's on the spot, feel free to say no.
Okay.
But I wanted to hear your take on how you would sell me this haunted house. Any haunted house.
So I'll say this. So in all seriousness, number one, I believe I don't sell, I advocate. The houses sell themselves. I just do an amazing job at contracting, negotiating, and whatnot, right?
Okay.
Now in like pretend world.
Yeah. If we rolled up and it's like 22 Arkin Drive.
So tell me a little bit more about the property.
So
tell me about the estate, because I haven't been here before.
So it's hold on. 22 Arkin State. If I'll for sure forget the things I say, so feel free to change my details.
Want to know how we know you have a buzz going? Is because you're mumbling so badly.
Am I?
Yes. Oh, well, you're 22. Oh, I can drive.
I had 2 drinks before this. I
had milk before this. And a pastrami sandwich.
Milk is so underrated.
Mustard. I love my pastrami sandwiches.
Milk is so
good.
good.
Where from?
Me. I make
it. You made it?
Oh, yeah.
Pastrami?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what pastrami is. I'm going to be honest.
Let's go with the horse story because I could talk about pastrami.
Yeah, there we go. That's a better,
subject.
Okay. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, finished basement for a podcast.
Okay.
But tragically, there's been a double murder.
Who says it's tragic?
That's true.
I'm just kidding.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm just kidding.
She may have nagged him too much. Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's horrible. That is horrible.
Tarot,
we don't know
come
yet.
on.
We'll cut that part. That was a little edgy. Right there.
I like it. I like
cut
it.
that part. That was edgy.
She nagged him a little too much about the dishes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It happened.
He's just got not acquitted. He's been
E. coli.
in prison for 5 years. This house finally came on the market.
Okay.
Family, whatever, butcher, whatever. But finally it's on the market, and this is you selling it. I'm interested, but I'm weary of maybe the supernatural that's coming of it, because there's been whispers. There's been whispers of.
Did you know you can get a ghost inspection?
Really?
So you can have ghost inspectors come to the property and verify whether there may or may not be that kind of presence on the property.
Hold on, pause my question. Has this happened? Have you had to deal
I've
with
called
this?
them. I've never went through with it, but I've called one once, my first year of
What
real
was
estate. They were
what
from
was
Salem,
the
Massachusetts,
call?
actually, or around there, I think, which is funny.
How did this phone call go?
I was working with a client who was concerned about these kinds of tenants, if you will. So he said, "How can we get a ghost inspection?" Like quite literally, he said something to that effect. It was my first year of real estate.
That is probably going to be the worst time. I'm being like, I don't know if that's it, but sure.
And I knew that there was that kind of service out there. Mm-hmm. So I told him, yes. I just said, I don't know anyone, but I can do some digging. So I did some digging, and you can get it done. I don't know, how it happens and whatnot.
They do, yeah.
But if you want one, I can write it into the purchase and sales agreement. I think it's section 14 where the other inspections are.
When it comes time, and
And you know what? I know a bitch,
us...
and she can do a seance for you.
Yeah.
And if they're there, they're going to get evicted.
Well, guess what? When you sell us our studio,
yeah,
I'm for sure going to make you go through this hoop.
Yep.
I'm for sure going to make you do it just for a laugh.
Yep. So that would be fun.
Going through with this story, you're going to do a walkthrough before we come to tour this house, okay? You walk in, and you actually see a ghost walking in the hallway. Like, there's no doubt about it. You check the whole house. There's no one in the house. You're hearing stuff. You are 100% sure it's haunted. We pull up to the driveway.
Do you believe in the paranormal?
This is a good question. So this is where we get fun.
Me and Tyrod are listening, so be careful.
Tyrod. I believe that there is definitely good energy out there, and I 100% believe there's bad energy out there. Mm-hmm. People can call it whatever they want. I've experienced both, and I'll kind of leave it at that. Mm-hmm. And I don't that's why I don't play with Ouija boards. I don't play with tarot cards.
That's a good call.
I really don't even watch horror or anything like that. I'm very much a believer that there's really bad energy.
Yeah, there's stuff you don't play with.
Yeah.
It's just not worth. There's no good outcome to it. Okay, but back.
But so you see this stuff. We pull up. You're on your way out because you're like, this is messed up.
Am I?
I don't. You're going to.
There you go. Yeah, there we go. Actually,
do it for the dollar. Do the commission check. Tough times are tough.
There we go.
No, I'm just kidding.
So do you tell us first off, yo, do you want to know what I just saw?
I would come out and seriously be like, guys, what the fuck? Like, I just saw a ghost in there, and you guys would probably be like, what are you talking about? Yeah. You guys would probably think he's on crack. Do you know what I mean? And probably leave. But if I saw a ghost, the last thing I would do is leave. And that's the realtor safety in me.
Yeah, realtor safety.
Yep. Seriously, one thing that a lot of people don't think about is a lot of time I am in people's homes alone that I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right.
Is there a horror story you have?
Today there was something interesting that happened. I was door knocking. with an associate of mine, and it was like the last house we hit, and it was a beautiful home. There was some chalk in the driveway.
What's door knocking? What's that?
When you knock on doors and you have a flyer or something.
Oh, just see if people want to sell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have different lines, but like this is my line. Hello, my name's David. In this particular town, I say, I'm your neighbor, and I also work right up the street. I won't take too much of your time, but I'm going around today because I have these flyers, and if you or anyone would like to know the value of your home, all you have to do is scan this code, and I will be in touch with you. And then I hand it, and they go, "Thank you." I have a great day, and on to the next one.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Have you? This might be just like throwing out something that you already do, but like, you should do like stickers.
I have like political stickers.
Maybe not. Okay. I'll do it because this is vandalism, and I don't care about getting a vandalism thing. For ticket or I don't know, sentence, I don't know. We should get a sticker, barcode, do you want to sell your house? And then this little barcode, you scan it, we'll put it on like street signs, a little main street, all that action,
People do that. I don't know if it's legal or not legal.
It doesn't sound legal.
But this is why I don't do it.
I think it's vandalism.
Because I know people that have done it before. For not necessarily real estate, but other things. I don't do it because my desired clients are not looking at a pole on the side of the road.
Yep. All right.
My kind of clients are at the golf club.
Yeah. There
you go.
Yeah.
Or and I'm being a little satirical when I say that, right? There are all sorts of different kinds of people.
Yeah.
I really like specializing in life changes.
Mm-hmm.
Life changes is a broad spectrum, but it gets kind of deep. So life changes could be a first-time home buyer, right? It could also be an older person that needs to downsize, or maybe someone who's died. I'm familiar with that process, estate and probate, and I know what it takes to sell a house during that and facilitate that transaction. Divorce situations. I like the life changes because at the end of the day, I'm very emotional, especially for like a guy. I feel like I'm very in touch with my emotional side.
I hear you,
and I can feel other people's energies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Passionate man.
So. It's not about agreeing or what's right and wrong, but just being able to be present with someone and hear them and just say, I hear you. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I'm so good at my job and why I like specializing in life changes. Because, I've had people call me because, the transaction is going well, but maybe they have something really hard going on in their life, like someone's died or this or that, and they just need someone to talk to because it's a lot.
You're making an impact.
I'm just being there for them.
I mean, that's what most people want. There's been so many times at my work where I work at the service department. Yeah. Of a whatever. I can't remember the name. Thank you. Yeah, that's where it's hitting. And I've had there's so many stories of people like randomly throwing stuff at me about their personal life. Where, like, I don't even remember anymore. Okay. Where, like, there's a woman whose husband died, like, That's 6 months after before she had came in, and she had, like, newly became very religious and was talking to me about, because my name's Josh, and it's a biblical thing. And, I mean, honestly, I didn't even know when she told me. So I was like, oh, I had no idea. And she was like, oh,
you feel special. Like,
I genuinely had no, I mean, now when people do it, I go, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Act all cute. Like,
what else?
give fish for compliments.
Yeah. What else am I about?
Do you like my hair?
But so she was like genuinely telling me about it, and then she was telling me about like her loss of her husband, and then there's another woman who, she's a super sweet lady, and her husband had died like 4 years ago, and every time she comes in, our glass doors, she'll pull in a little bit and then she'll wave to me from inside. So I have to come out and I have to go talk to her. And she's the sweetest woman,
Yeah.
And the last Christmas, I was like, oh, like, what are you doing for the holidays? And she was like, well, I'm a little older, so I don't, like, feel comfortable hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, my husband died years ago, and she's like, and my kids all live out of state.
She's kind of like a loner.
And it was, it was, like, heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I almost was
sad.
like, do you want to come to ours?
Yeah.
I, like, genuinely asked, and she was like, no, sweetie. Like, that's okay.
Aww.
But it was like, you don't realize, like, how many people, like, every time she comes in, like, she knows, like, there's a handful of customers who we know who come in who I have a list of people, if I leave my job, who have told me, like, I need to tell them before I, like, leave, because they're like, I need to know, like, I'm gonna be upset and I need to talk to you before you leave, because it's like, you don't know what people like you impact.
You don't.
Like, the smallest details, you affect someone's day. And
Can I tell you how I do that? And I'm cheating a little bit because it's not right now. But a lot of times, I will carry $100 cash. And it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in line at Market Basket, and there's a mom or somebody, and their card declines, or they have to start putting stuff back. That's embarrassing, and I know how that feels like.
Yeah.
And I just say, don't worry about it. And it's not all the time, but when someone really needs that, imagine what you can do. It's paying it forwards.
Mm-hmm. There was a gentleman who, okay, so this sounds a little shitty now because it's been a while, but 3 years ago, before the pandemic, all that, I talked to him for a while. We were just chit-chatting, and he pulls out his wallet, and I go, no, dude, like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And, I checked, like, his fluids and all this and checked his pressures on his tires. And he hands me a $2 bill. And I go, dude, don't worry about it. And he goes, no, you don't understand. And I go, what? And he goes, this is a $2 bill.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, I know. And he goes, you don't see these a lot, right? I go, no. And he goes, I had someone give this to me at my work. He goes, I just kind of randomly helped them. I was just being a genuinely good person. And he gave this to me. And he said, the person who gave this to me gave this to me because I was just being a good person.
Good.
It was just paying. It's not about the
monetary.
It's not about the money. It's about the meaning of it. And he gave it to me and said, you have to give it to someone who you feel like has positively impacted you in just a good human way. And he goes, I genuinely feel like you did that for me. I really appreciate that. And he said, you can do that if you'd like. You can spend it on $2, whatever you need. He goes, but I personally feel like you did this for me, and you can pass your tradition. And I still have it in my wallet. And it sounds shitty for 3 years later.
Well, you're waiting for that moment.
I have forgot about it a couple times.
You're letting it accrue in equity.
Yeah. But it like really hit me at first of just like tradition's such a big thing.
I think tradition is an amazing
thing. It is
so
so cool, and especially like some like
do you know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's not only respect. When he gave you that, he was honoring you.
Yeah.
And when you accepted it, you were honoring him. And you did nothing more than just be present. Okay?
Exactly. I felt very honored, and I told probably 3 people afterwards about the situation.
Yourself,
and I mean,
myself,
that's why
Cam.
years I've held on to it for this moment, but I genuinely I've held on to it because I'm like, when the moment happens, like that's when it comes out. Because it's a big
good energy, and this is what I mean.
I have it tucked away in a secret pocket of my wallet because I don't want it ever to be slipped into something, because I go like, this is a serious thing.
Yeah.
And it should go to something I feel like honorable.
Yeah.
But
someone who's going to pay it forward.
Yeah, it's kind of like
lose your wallet.
You could be one of those like Facebook posts that are really long and then like start off one way but end in a total other way. Then at the bottom it says, if you like this, copy, share, and repaste.
That's me. And like, those drive me. Are you kidding me? That's me. In
this
$2
bill story.
Yeah,
and like all these moms like at home on the weekend are just like resharing. And grandmothers.
Do you know how many
times
I've almost had the first month I had it? Do you know how many times I almost wrote out a word thing on a Sharpie of it, of like, write your name if you because I was like, hold on, like, no, because this goes back to football.
You're gonna get it back, and it's gonna be only Mr. 603.
But I was like, the number 7 for LSU always goes to like the guy who works hard and is like a gamer. Like
when I said yup, I don't really know that. I'm just giving you tacit approval.
That's okay. That's fine with it because I was gonna go on with it anyway. Is Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, Fournette. Like LSU has this thing with the number 7, where like you can't just you can't just choose the number. Like it really means something. Like you have to be a team guy. You have to
the number chooses you.
You have to work hard for it, and you have to be a playmaker. Like you can't just be a bullshit guy.
I already know what I'm gonna say, but like finish.
It's like it's a real symbol.
Yes.
The number 7. Like Fournette was the first running back for LSU who's now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay, with Brady.
But like he was the first guy to wear number 7 offensively. And like I remember seeing LSU fans be like, he can't wear that. He's not defense. Like he's not a playmaker on defense. But he became like the best running back in college football. But it was like the number meant so much, and like in high school, like you still kind of see that. Like there's guys who are like graduate as seniors and are like, wear my number.
Yeah.
And they're like,
no one wears my number except the fattest kid on the team.
Yeah,
90.
90. I was gonna say 90 and up is a tough
club.
one, but it's an honorable one.
Yeah.
But
so what I was gonna say is this: what that was, right, in some form or another, that's status, right? The honor, the privilege of having that, okay? And other people look at that, because if it was just the number, it would mean nothing. It's the value that other people perceive. So to have so many other greats have it, right? You want it. It's the same thing in corporate structure and business and politics, anything else. At the base core of business, everyone wants to be the guy. Everyone wants to have money. But the people that work for the money and like go out to it, they don't get it, right? So the people that are always like on the football team, I deserve that. I work harder than everyone. Ego, right? Their ego's getting in the way. They'll never get it. But here's the other cool part. The individual that sacrifices above and beyond the call of duty for the team, right? The group, that could be the corporate structure, it could be the nonprofit, this team, the football team. If they do that and give way more than is expected or even wanted or even desired by a coach or a boss, the group is going to look at that individual and go like, oh my God, like they are really sacrificing for the benefit of the group. Those are the people in this case that get the number 7s. Those are people like me who do all the stuff I'm doing, and people go, wow, what a great person, all this other stuff. And then, blah, blah, blah. And then you name any other really, not just successful in the form of like finance, usually a lot of times that is one of the factors, but just really respect and admiration. It also ties back to the number 7, sacrificing for the group, being above and beyond, staying humble. And you just have to work, because you don't know if you're going to get it or not.
Yeah.
But if you just do that, you will. And anyone can in anything. So I think that's very special.
Yeah. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys have the same thing with 88.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't remember the first guy.
Michael? Or not Mike?
No, Irving? Not Irving. There was a guy before him. There was someone, and then Michael Irving, Des Bryant, and now C.D. Lamb.
Yeah.
C.D. Lamb was drafted by the Cowboys out of Oklahoma. He wanted to wear 2. And they said, no. Okay. Jerry Jones said, you're going to wear 88 because we drafted you as a wide receiver. 88 is a special number for us. And we want you to be part of this family. We want you to be part of this. Yeah. This.
If Jerry said that to me, I'd be like, okay, Daddy, give me the $40 million.
Yeah, for real.
I'll be whatever your number you want me to be.
Do you want me to be 46? I don't care.
You want me to cheer next game? Like $40 million? Like, or whatever it is?
Yeah,
like,
I'll cheer. I don't need to catch. I'll cheer.
I'll do stats if you need me
to.
Yeah.
But it does make a big difference when someone gives you something. It's not about, like you said, monetization. It's about the spiritual and the gratification of like, you worked for this.
It's status.
Yeah.
And status usually has a negative connotation, but it shouldn't. And the status and the effect of the group chose this individual to have this number, that's an honor, right?
Yeah. I can't remember the word we said earlier. Group. It was something like that.
I don't know what you're
This is what happens.
Congregation.
What did you say earlier? You said, like, what happens when someone blackballed you? I was like,
no.
What?
That
yeah,
is
that's
right.
true. I don't think I
You
think
not
I answered.
blackballed, but like
I guess I did
black
answer
booked?
it.
Is that what you were trying to say?
No. But they were like, oh, he's young. Like,
Yeah.
we're not going to pay attention to
Yeah.
him. Like, you can easily be shut out of something.
Can I tell you what? There's not a lot, but there's definitely some people who I won't name that don't like me. And it has nothing to do with me.
And they're fucking
It has
haters.
all to do with their insecurities.
Exactly.
They don't know me. The people that I'm talking about, they literally don't know me. They follow me. But I love them so much. You know why? Because they're my biggest fans.
Because
They're my biggest fans. Like, they can't stop watching me.
They watch every post.
They can't stop watching.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're going to watch whether they like me or not. And it helps with the algorithms.
Yeah.
So, like,
You said
keep
it,
hating. Like, I love it.
You said in the beginning, if like
They're my number one fans club. That's what I call them.
if you
and they're
tribe,
small,
if
but-
you're not
The
part
tribe.
of if you're not part of my tribe, you unfollow, and that's fine. But
that
even the
60
people,
tree tribe, like that's a certain like line I should put out.
yeah.
Yeah.
But even if
603 tribe.
you're not part of this, even if you hate it,
Yeah.
you're still part of it
Yeah.
because you're following.
Hate
You
us
still
'cause you
watch.
hate us.
You view.
Yes. I will say this though. I always thought that like even with politics, like when I like decided to run, like a bunch of people were gonna come out and hate against me. Can I be honest with you? I've stepped into vulnerability in my life and started to trust people, which has been difficult. But since I've done that, everything's been in my head. Most people say, "Wow, like I've let them in my life, and now they want to support me. They want to, help me get to where I want to go." It's the complete opposite, I think, of what most people think. Like, the more vulnerable I become, the more people, come under this big tent of Mr. 603 and love the brand. It's more than just real estate, and it's more than just me. When I first came up with it, I thought I was Mr. 603, if that makes sense. I'm not. Mr. 603 is the brand. It's the ideal, and I think in a way it represents all people, like, in New Hampshire. And I hope even outside New Hampshire, it's live free or die. Do what you want to do. And all that kind of like Yankee kind of stuff that I've like infused into the brand. It's freedom at the end of the day. And people resonate with that. It's one thing. It's freedom to do what you want to do. So when these people, it's literally probably less than 10 people.
It's funny.
People love me. I know people in prison that love me. I know people in D.C. that love me.
I know
on
people
both
in prison.
spectrums. I'm running
That
as a
is the
Republican,
best.
but so many Democrats are also going to vote for me because they love me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because I believe in win-win situations where most people believe in win-lose situations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is
T-shirt.
one the
I know
prison
people in
thing.
prison.
The
I
prison
love
is the
that.
best pull.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true. Do I? Let me think. I guess I
I
do.
hope so.
I'm not going to
You
name
went
that.
to MV.
I think we all
You
do.
went to
We all
MV.
went to
You know
MV.
someone-
There's a handful.
It's not good if
We're not
prison
gonna
people
name drop.
don't like you. It's
We're
not going to
gonna
end
name
well
drop,
because
but we
some of
all
those
know
guys
some
get
kids in
out.
prison.
Mr.
But-
603.
I wish them well. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some of
people-
them I'm like, you're good.
You can stay.
Can
You
I
stay.
say this? I'm not going to say the individual's name. They're in prison right now. We went to school with them for hard drugs and a bunch of other stuff. And let's not name drop let's not brainstorm, if you will. And, he was kind of always like a troublemaker in a lot of sense, told teachers to like F themselves. But when we sat together at lunch, he treated me really well. We were friends. He
It
was
is
nice
funny.
to me. He was a good person. But I remember it was like 6th grade and there was a pep rally and he came in with a shirt on, Jamie Foxx, blame it on the alcohol, right? But his shirt said just that, blame it on the alcohol.
Yeah.
The kid's 12 or 13, he's wearing that shirt. And that kind of struck a pose with me even then because my parents would never, to put it simply,
It
never
is an
let me wear
aggressive
that.
shirt for sure.
So now when I look at it as an adult and I see him in prison, I go, that kid never had a chance.
No, yeah.
His parents allowed him
Those are the small things you don't realize, like,
to do that.
really impact.
And no one stood up
Yeah.
for him. So now when people say, oh, he's a bad person and this and that, it's like, that's what he knew.
Yeah.
He was surviving.
I could do this. I could say this. I could act
You
this
know?
way, and like it was fine. Like,
And it doesn't make any excuses for what he did, and he should be in prison. But
God, I have no idea who this is.
I really, for me, and this is why I wanted to be a trial attorney.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate.
That is true.
You know, there's always a human element to someone. Do you know what I mean? And our wonderful county attorney here in Merrimack County, I was at an event and he gave a short speech, but one of the things he said is, you know, it's my job to prosecute people. And I'm paraphrasing, but he essentially said, I prosecute people the way I would want to be prosecuted if I was on the stand.
Yeah.
And when I thought about them, like, wow, like that's so true. Like if we make a mistake, we have to own up to it. But we shouldn't be crucified for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And our society today crucifies anyone for anything. And it's like the kid didn't even have a chance. So circle back. I do know someone in prison. Not well. I haven't talked to them for over 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm talking like high school. Like when I was at Merrimack College, probably the last
I'll
time I
bleep the
talked
name,
to
but can you say who? I don't know who. I'll bleep it. I swear to Oh, yeah.
heroin,
Oh,
fighting.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Okay.
Pretty bad.
I will cut it, yeah, but for
Pretty
sure,
bad.
yeah.
Cut that. You know, I don't want anyone.
No,
to
I
come
definitely
kill me,
won't. Don't
'cause
worry.
I need a bodyguard, but like, I don't need
Yeah.
one
Hey,
yet,
you know
so.
bodyguards. You're good. Love it.
Like,
This
wouldn't
is
that
so
be
unprofessional.
cool?
I'm gonna go to the bathroom again.
Oh my god.
I had 3 drinks before this with another coach. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Keep going. That's crazy.
Think of some other questions.
Oh my god.
Ooh. Okay.
What are we at for time? We've been going for a little bit.
Yeah, I talk. This is what I do for a
I think
living.
this is one of my favorite episodes.
Thank you. This is fun.
'Cause I will
could do
say-
this every day.
I'm not like we've already gone over that political part of the
Yeah.
conversation, but I don't involve myself in it because I don't have a great understanding of it. And that's ignorant of myself.
Okay.
And that's my whole thought process is I don't understand it enough.
Who's telling you don't understand it enough?
I'm telling
You're
myself
telling
that.
yourself that.
So, just for example, the last presidential election we had.
Okay.
I didn't know enough about it. I wasn't informed enough. I
Okay.
wasn't going to make an educated decision, so I didn't vote.
Okay.
Because with just what I knew, it
Okay.
wasn't enough to make a solid educated decision
Okay.
on who I believe would run our nation
Okay.
best.
Can I have a rebuttal to that?
Yeah.
A candid rebuttal. The worst thing anyone can do
Mm-hmm.
is not make a decision at all in anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
Making the wrong decision is better than making no decision at all
Mm-hmm.
in anything.
Yeah.
Instinctually, we have to fight or flight. That's what keeps us alive. Some of us freeze. The ones that freeze die in the wild. Too many people freeze in life. Let me help you. What? So there might not be. I shouldn't say that. That sounds very narcissistic. Let me help you. Let me shed
Yeah.
some light. Okay. You don't have to know, who's in the G7, what's in the new infrastructure bill necessarily to a T. But let me ask you a question. Are you happy with your gas prices?
Not necessarily. No.
Are you happy with the cost of food?
No.
Are you happy with the cost of housing?
No.
Are you happy with the third world roads we have to drive on? No. So what don't you know about? You might not know policy.
Yeah.
But you know enough to say this is fucked up.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the big thing is I don't understand what directly goes into it. So, obviously, I know this is super ignorant to say, and I know it's not true. But
Okay.
whenever I have this conversation with anyone, I always go, president doesn't have any impact on me. I know that's not true, but
Okay.
that's my scapegoat, so I can
Yep.
get out of the conversation.
Okay.
But the whole thing I was trying to get to was this conversation we've had so far has been the most enlightening to make me want to
Be engaged.
Thank and
you.
do the
That's
civic
good.
duty.
Good. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to get in like the civic engagement topic, but I'm running this election not again because I necessarily wanted to. Now I want to. I got a call because no one else was stepping up to the plate. Imagine 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when our generation is supposed to be taking the torch and people aren't taking the torch.
Yeah.
we live in a society, a free society, hopefully for the long run, that the only way that can exist is if people like you and I step up to the plate in some capacity. If no one wants to step up, there's going to be problems like we're seeing right now. Imagine if there were, only 2 out of 3 county commissioners. That would be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then imagine if you only had 1. Then you have a dictator, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That, in a short expression, is why it's so important for people to be civically engaged. Because we're living in a society now where people just tune out, and I understand because it's a lot.
Yeah. People,
though, at some point have to, and it doesn't have to be in a political way. It could just be going out and voting for me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, and just fucking vote.
Listen, just vote for me.
And that's the big piece is I was just
for anybody.
I was thinking like.
Specifically me.
Like you, not necessarily, obviously you want to do this, but it wasn't your first option. Like this wasn't your dream. I want to run for this position. You know what I mean?
It didn't even cross my, no.
But
so how I explain it to people. Well, when the people's work comes knocking, I can't say, I need to wait till I have, $500,000 a year and I'm living on the country club and I have my Escalade ESV in platinum white. It's in like, it doesn't wait. It's right now. Yeah. And they need someone to step up. And I could have said no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I said yes because I care. This is where I grew up, Merrimack County. Yeah. This is where I live. This is where I work.
And if you can do that, I can do something as simple as voting. I can take the time, whatever, 20 minutes a month.
You could, but are you?
But here's another thing.
I'll go vote for David.
There are so many young people, 30 years and younger, that have no clue how to vote.
Yeah.
They don't know how to register. They're intimidated by it.
You're on the show right now, and I would love to vote, but I don't know how.
But they don't want people to know how to vote.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good thing about social media, what they've been doing. I don't know. Like Snapchat, they have a link right on there for you to go register to vote. Instagram, they have.
I would be hesitant about some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, as much as I love social media, and it's done wonders for my life, if someone doesn't have social media, I recommend they never get on it.
Mm-hmm.
Social media brainwashes people. You can use whatever word you want for that, but I use brainwash. The political ads and the content that we see on TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram, the reason a lot of times where they're so vulgar or extreme or just hilarious is because that's what gets attention.
Yeah.
The way the internet was created back in the day was they wanted it to be free so everyone could access it, which I understand and I'm for, but nothing's free in this world. Mm-hmm. So what they did was, we can keep it free to the users as long as we can, companies can advertise, right? And their advertisements and everything will pay to have everything up. So now where the attention economy, like we used to have, I think like 5 or 10 seconds to capture someone's attention. Now it's like half a second, right? On TikTok and stuff. They have to be extreme. They have to be loud. If they don't, they're missing out on so much stuff. And if they're not getting clicked on, then that advertiser's, profits are going to be lower than someone else's, right? Because they're not getting as much engagement. So you have to be more extreme and vulgar and lewd and sexual, right? Like Kim Kardashian. She's 40 years old, has children, and is showing her ass to the world. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not the moral police. What she's doing is working, but I think, in the context of orthodoxy and traditional values, most people would say that's obscene. If like the average neighborhood mom, that's what she did. Maybe she does now. I don't know. And it's not for me to judge. Again, I'm not the moral police. But that kind of stuff gets clicks. That's why those kind of people have insane amounts of wealth. That's also why, we have extreme radicalism in both sides, of the political system, and so many craziness and just in chaos, because the internet is driven by clicks. And how many clicks can you get? Well, how profane can you be so you can get the most viewers? That makes sense?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's as I do like all the editing, I do all the clipping, I do all the put out of this show. It's fine. I put it on myself. But I do a great when I go through, I give the show 24 hours to sit. I want to see what it gets on its own, and then I throw out clips and whatever.
Yeah.
But it is tough when you have to go through and go, okay, like what's gonna get attention, what's gonna make you want to watch. It's like you said, it's the more
extreme,
kind of crazy, more interesting, because that's what interests people.
Yep.
Because that's what it is. But it's also, like you said, is I get half a second to 10 seconds to see your attention, and then that's it.
Yep.
That's all it is. I mean, like this show's TikTok is like, there's a couple of videos that one has like 800, one has like 1,000, one has whatever. But it's
there's that's have nothing.
And
but it's like, but then that's it. But then like the actual show only has like, I think our most is like 100 or something like that. But it's also our attention span is quick form, and that's it. Like my girlfriend will watch TikTok for like an hour while I'm watching an hour-long podcast, because I'm like, oh, I know I want to watch this interview of whoever this person is or this person, but she's like, I don't want to sit and watch that. Like, J. Cole has a podcast with, I can't remember her name, but it's so insightful. It's about all this different stuff. And I tried to make her watch it, and she's like, I don't want to watch this. This is like an hour, 10 minutes.
Yeah. So it's interesting you say that. So most podcasters now have such a large following, not from their podcast, but from clips of their podcast.
Yeah.
That I was.
Clips.
They have their own channels for it.
I was so against going on TikTok and just clipping stuff in general until I had 3 different friends go, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Who cares what you want to do? Who cares what you want to do, man?
There's going to be a point, definitely in the next 5 years, going back to that, where I want a production crew around me, like at all times. Like and in this day and age, it doesn't even to be a crew. It can be someone with a couple iPhones, right? Following me around at all times. And I'll pay them whatever it is, $100,000 a year, to just shoot content, and then when we're done shooting content, just edit, and I want to put stuff out on YouTube. I want to put stuff out on TikTok. That right there will make me millions of dollars.
It pays for itself. I had the last friend I had who came on and did this with me. He came down and he looked at it and goes, "Jeez, man, I thought this was so much bigger. I thought I didn't realize you needed this amount of space." And he was like, using old phones?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, dude, like
that's all you need.
You don't need to use all this crazy. When I first wanted to do it, I thought you had to do all this crazy. I'm like, the most I've bought is one camera and tripods. That's it.
I have studio lighting. I've got the mics. I think it's Sennheiser, something like that, mics. The Yamaha mixer. And in the past, I've made some like cool content myself on it. Like, to be honest with you, this is interesting. I used to always be about high quality content. I will not put something out unless it's high quality content. That's when I got a photographer. There was lots of video editing, but I was spending thousands of dollars to do that. And it got good engagement, especially the high quality photos. And by the way, for the branding photos, I don't know if you guys know Adam Bodine.
Yeah. I was just thinking of that because I remember he took
shout out to Adam Bodine. He's done a lot of wonderful work for the Mr. 603 brand and portfolio.
He's awesome.
No, seriously. I haven't done any in a while. A lot of that has to do with like my health. Like I want to get down back to size and stuff, and I feel good now.
I hear you. I'm a 30-pound loss weight challenge right now, and I'm not doing good.
Until
I'm a week and a half in, and I haven't started. So.
But now my quality, believe it or not, on one end, the visual and audio, it's gone down. Because now I barely use my like equipment anymore. I'm only using my phone. I literally have my tripod. I turn on the light. I don't even have a script. I just say whatever I want to say, and I try to keep it under 30 seconds. If it goes over 30, I usually scrap it. Right? And I just try to put out as much of that as possible. And at some point, I want to be doing that probably once a day for at least an hour. Because in an hour's time, I could shoot probably, like video-wise, I could have tons of different content, but it's actually the editing, like the sounds, the filters, then the loading and stuff that takes a while.
It's a lot, yeah.
But if I could put out, I don't really do TikToks. I make TikTok, then I download it and repost, or like Reels. If I could do 4 posts a day, that would change my life. And and people say, well, it's not, that should be easy. And it's like,
it's not.
It is, but it's not.
Yeah, it's so much.
It's time consuming.
You need to find something that's quality enough that you think it's worth doing.
Like, it's got to look
something
good.
that you think projects what you want to do, and then make sure it's visually, sound, everything that you want, and then put it out. Which, like, just doing that is 10 minutes alone. Yeah. Then you do that 4 times. That's almost an hour of your time.
That's how everyone knows me. I'll go downtown. I'll go to, like, Live Juice.
Especially
or
for
some
you.
restaurant. I've literally had high school kids be like, "You're that guy from Instagram." I go, "Yeah." That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. That's when I knew that my brand, David Lovelin, Mr. 603.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've created a brand that's larger than myself by so much. That's probably the coolest thing I've done with my life. You know, I've created an entity.
Far.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah. But getting back to like the content, like the quality is still good, but it's gone down because I have to pump so much more out. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Now when I have the money and stuff like that, like I'll have a production crew. Honestly, I would love if someone literally lived with me and just like just followed me around and like shot content. But like that's down the road.
Yeah.
Because that's everything. Then I would like some sort of like subscription service or this or that. You know what I mean?
OnlyFans? You want an OnlyFans?
I could do an OnlyFans.
That would be cool.
Because it doesn't have to be what everyone thinks it's for.
Yeah, that is true. It is funny that the few people who like celebrities who are like, yeah, I got an OnlyFans, and they subscribe and they're like, you're not naked, and they're like, no, dude, it doesn't have to be.
They're fully clothed and they're
like what?
Baking a muffin. You're like, why did I come here?
Yeah.
No, I'm
what?
Kidding. I've never been to that website.
$75.
Yeah.
But that's kind of going back to like the internet and stuff.
To kind of wrap it, I got a couple things I want.
Okay.
Is who to you is not your hero? Because I think heroes are very...
Myself.
There you go. See, that's...
So Lizzo. So Lizzo's not my hero.
Lizzo's my hero.
See,
I'm my hero because Lizzo's her hero.
I'm quoting...
I get where you're going.
I'm quoting a lot of lyrics because like I love music. I listen to music all the time.
I do.
Again, I'm a realtor. I'm in the car all the time. Lizzo says, I think it's in Water Me. She says, I am my inspiration, you know? And that's how I feel.
It should be.
I love myself,
yeah,
you know, in a healthy way. Do you know what I mean? I respect myself. I value myself because there's no one like me on the planet, just like you or any of the other 8 billion people here. We are the only ones ever, just like ourselves. So I'm my inspiration. Now, to your point, like people that have influenced me, like it is that kind of where we're going with that?
Yeah. But you aren't wrong. I'm with you. I listen to a lot of music, and then I listen to a lot of like motivational life, like stuff like that, especially like in hard times, like when life feels very crazy. I'll listen to that to go to bed, and it just kind of soothes my mind. And one of the big things I hear a lot is like Matthew McConaughey says, like I don't know if you've heard it. Someone asked him like, "Oh, who's your hero?"
Okay.
Me in 5 years. In 5 years, someone asked him like, "Hey, who's your hero now?" He says, "No, me in 5 years. I'm never gonna be my hero, but that's the person I'm striving to be. I'm never gonna be that, so it gives me something to chase, because like I am that person, but I'm completely comfortable with I'm never gonna be that person." If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I have like 3 answers to this. So number one, I'm gonna try not to like forget because there's a lot of stuff on my mind. Number one, I'm already forgetting.
We gotta get
inspiration. I know.
Hey, this is an open invitation, man. You can come whenever you want.
Thank you.
Tell me whenever. I was gonna say this at the end. No, keep going. I'll say it at the end.
Yeah, you're messing
I don't
up.
want you to lose your track.
Who do we work for? Influence. Ryan Serhant, $1 million listing. I don't know if you know him.
What's his name?
Ryan Serhant. He was on Bravo, $1 million listing.
Okay.
But he has this TV show, and he definitely is real. Like he makes tens of millions of dollars. I wouldn't say has been an influence on me. He's someone I respect. But one thing, I just was watching a YouTube video he said last week, and he says, my boss and like the person I look up to the most, to answer your question, is he says me. 60 years from now. He says what he did is he has an aging app on his phone, and he took a picture of himself, and he aged himself like 40, 50 years. So he would be like 60, 70 years old. That's at his office. So every day when he goes to his office, he goes, that's the man I'm working for. So that's kind of how I feel. Like who is future David? That's cool. You know, what is my life going to be when I'm 80 years old? Or it's probably going to be like 110 years old. Because I believe like that sounds crazy, but we have so much technology today,
We're getting
guys.
there, yeah. our
Yeah.
generation we're going to
Like-
have such a different life when we're 50
Yeah.
to what it is for 50s
yeah.
now.
So I really am an optimist, like a historical optimist. You know, there's
Yeah.
definitely going to be some bad times, but you know, like there's good times too, and I think there's going to be so much. So we're going to live a long life as well as we take care of ourselves and whatnot. But just the fact that that's what he did, aged himself, and every day he goes in and sees himself at like 80 years old or whatever it is. But then kind of more my mentors and influence. I have so many. There's been so many people that have impacted my life in so many different ways. Like, this would be a whole nother thing where I just have to like name drop people.
Yeah.
You're like you're winning an award.
The biggest one of the biggest ones, is someone who I never met, and that was my grandfather on my mom's side.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away before I was even, a thought. But my grandfather, and I didn't know a lot of this stuff until I kind of gravitated towards this stuff, was very big in New Hampshire politics. He never held public office, but he ran campaigns. He was press secretary for multiple governors, and he retired as director of highway safety of New Hampshire. So 101 that goes through Epping is named after him. Buckle up for safety, J. McDuffie Highway. But what he was known for is campaign management. He helped 8 New Hampshire governors get elected.
Jeez.
Yep. He worked for Governor John Sununu, Meldrum Thompson, Axe the Tax, Merrill. I mean, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we have the no seatbelt law in New Hampshire if you're above 18 is because of my grandfather. Because he said back in the day when this was the huge national thing, he was one of the voices because he was friends with Reagan, and he had been to the White House. And I have Reagan's portrait on my credenza at my office signed by him because my grandfather went to his inauguration because he was invited. He was a political mastermind. And I didn't really know these things until I kind of started to get into them. Then different relatives reached out and said, like, this is what your grandfather did. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know him, so no one talked about him.
Yeah.
So thinking and learning more and more about him has been such a huge influence. Because I don't want to say it's eerie, because eerie isn't the right word. Very coincidental. We're related. I never met him, but I am walking down a very similar path that he did. And I was going to
say, it's funny that like this is all stuff you felt like you just kind of like you were trying to be the path to what you wanted.
Yeah.
And it's all stuff that like if you looked it sounds like if you just kind of looked back into the family heritage and the early signs is obvious things that like young version or family would have been like, no, this is what you're going to be doing, man.
So that's a really big one, and I like that one because I don't know him, and I would have loved to. Do you know what I mean? Because I think we would have had some great conversations. But there's a rhyme and a reason for everything. Other influences that I've had, I mean, I don't want to be cliche and like say my mom, but like my mom, I love my mom. Very hard worker, and she obviously has some health problems that I won't get into. But seeing a strong woman be able to like persevere through a lot, like that's very inspirational. I don't even know where to begin on that. There's just so many people. It
is. Yeah, it's kind of one of those open-ended questions where it's like
here's
every
one.
single
Here's
person.
One.
Yeah,
and this is going to resonate with some people. My second grade class, Mrs. Thornton. I don't know if she's still with us. I hope she is. God bless her. But she was like a salt of the earth kind of human being. She was the coolest teacher at the school. Everyone loved her. She had Beanie Babies she would give to kids. We would write stories, and she had like these colorful folders with like colorful duct tape, and we would make our own books. And it was like a couple pages, and then we would like scribble our pictures in between. But like as a kid, like that's so like you're using your brain. We did like the butterflies in her class, and she was wicked into science, and she was the one who like read us a lot of like Roald Dahl books, like The Big Friendly Giant, The Witches, like all that stuff. And like when I think back at it, like that was like peak childhood. Like she was an A1, not only educator, but like human. Yeah. And she had a profound impact on me. Just being just such a good human. I feel like she just loved life. I think she loved kids, obviously in her role as that, but she loved science and all the things in that. And, when we would write, she loved the creativity. I have that with me today because like I want myself to kind of amplify that, but I think other people should be more like that. Like find something you like, your passion, get into it, care about it. Don't get into like the right, the wrong, the politics. Like just live and experience.
It's funny. My first grade teacher is someone he had once, I had twice, and my cousins had, and it's someone who went to our grandmother's funeral.
Wow.
Like she knows my like she's a massive, and now that I think about it, like I should probably just have her on. We should have
that would be
that
cool.
would be really cool.
Yeah, I won't say her name just in case she doesn't want to, but like I did my teacher prep program with her.
Okay.
Like she's someone that is super special. Like she's gonna be at my wedding. Like
see, that's awesome. And here's the thing: this is why being a teacher is so important.
Huge.
And I'm not gonna get into this side of things because I definitely have opinions. But a good teacher truly has such a profound impact on a child.
I've had
such a profound
like
impact.
everyone's had good teachers and they've had bad.
Yes,
but like
100%.
Like with I wrote my college my college admission thing is a story because I applied late. I didn't take the SATs. All I did was apply late. There's another if you want that.
Oh sure,
you can have it.
Thank you. Seltzer.
Citrus
soda.
Yeah. I applied late and I didn't put any effort in. All I did was write a college essay. And if the most it was I wrote half of it like kind of to her. Okay. And she was one person I had because you know how like you need people to send kind of like what is it called? Recommendation. Thank you. I had her write mine and hers reading it. I still have it. It's in a bin over there because it's literally just like an homage to what me and my family meant to her and her assumption on what
I like that.
What she meant to me. Homage. And like it's not even half of what she even thinks. Like it's actually very emotional. Like I'm not gonna cry.
Yeah,
but it's like
you're about to cry.
You're crying, but like you can't.
She means like she genuinely means so much. Like she's like you said, like she's gone through health stuff. She's gone through like I've seen her go through different things and is just like a student of hers, and she hasn't even like opened up too much. Where it's like you don't even understand like. Even we've seen her a couple times in like public, and it's like, oh, she doesn't even like fully comprehend the impact she's had on just me.
Yeah,
and it's like, you never get fully.
And this is kind
what
of
that person does
leads into like where I'm at in my life, going back to like small world, profound impacts. I feel like as adults we grow up and we lose contact with a lot of people, and we just do our thing where we get busy, but. Miss T, right, my second grade teacher, to this day, somewhere in storage, I have a yellow folder. And in that yellow folder is every second grader in that class of mine, right, in 03 or whenever it was, their favorite sandwich. Everyone in my Salisbury Elementary class, I could look up the record and find out what your favorite sandwich was in second grade.
That's so cool.
And
that's really funny.
And I bring that to my business, and I'm not going to name drop. I work with a lot of people. I also work with a lot of people you and I both know, buying and selling houses, helping their parents and stuff. And I don't necessarily share that story with them, but that's what humanizes me, right? Because it brings me back to that kind of childhood mindset. Because there's a child in like all of us, and it's that innocent, it's the care. And that's really what I like doing. I like serving, remembering, hey, this is a small world. We're all just, humans on the, long trek of life, like, that highway. So that's very humbling. Like it's such a weird cliche thing, but like that sandwich story to me, like
that is cool.
I'm not going to name drop, but all the kids, I mean, I used to go to school with, I can think of all of them and see what their favorite sandwich was tomorrow, So that's cool to me. But yeah, profound people. That there's a lot, so I'll leave it there, I guess.
Yeah,
I just think I'm so lucky that like, cause I've had some really bad teachers, but I've had some really good teachers, and I know I've met people that their first thought when thinking of school.
I know someone. I have to name drop this person.
Good.
Donna Newcomb. Craig Newcomb's mom.
Yeah.
back like when I was playing Blue Storm, Donna Newcomb was so involved.
Yeah.
So involved, and she was the sweetest woman.
Yeah.
Oh my God. She did so many good things for that program.
I forgot about her. Oh my God.
She was a huge influence in my life.
Yeah.
Ultimate respect to her. Ultimate respect.
It's funny the amount of people. Our current she's not even booster president, but she comes to every game.
How do I become a booster? I feel like I'd be a really good booster.
Oh my God. It is so time consuming. I'll tell you that right now.
It depends who you are. We're gonna cut that part, but like
there we go.
I fundraise.
We're gonna have a bidding war for who gets.
I've already raised $3,000 this month for an organization.
Well, there you go. So, I mean, MV could.
But want to come join the board of trustees?
Sure. all I do is I call up my bankers and my lawyers and I say, hey, you know, can you help
I'll put
me
you
out?
in contact.
An email from my executive director.
Yeah, I'll send the message to our but she's the sweetest woman. Her son is a senior, and I started coaching with her son, and I'm not going to say any names because I hope I imagine she'll never see this, but my first year coaching, I did literally nothing with Blue Storm.
Okay.
I did not, I wasn't in control of anything. All I did was kind of personally coach some kids.
Okay.
And leaving a game, we didn't win one game that season. And we were leaving a game, Blue Storm, everyone drives themselves. And she calls for me from behind, and I go, yeah, what's going on? And she goes, I just want to tell you, I really appreciate what you're doing with him. She's like, it really means a lot.
Wow.
And for now, the last 5 years, she has stepped in. She's not president of our boosters, but she is the only booster I could point out of a crowd. Yeah. She is the only. She brings
she's involved.
Sandwiches.
She's there.
She brings waters to every game. Yeah. She deals with all of the paperwork, all of the financials. She deals with every single thing. And her son graduates this year. And she said, yeah, I'm going to keep doing it because she has a nephew who's a freshman.
She's like she loves it.
She loves the kid. One of our D linemen who got an interception this year, at halftime, she went to our huddle and she's leaving as we're walking over it. And she goes, sorry, guys, I just had to tell him I'm so proud of him. And she was emotional because she's watched this kid grow up and she's she understands and
he's going to remember that for his whole life. A lineman that gets an interception. I never had one. That's huge. Almost did. But if that's forever.
I was a DB who never had an interception.
You never played.
I played a little bit, but that's huge. That's huge. And for a parent, you don't realize until you're an adult, grown, and what what moments mean to you, but what they mean to the people who care about you.
Yes.
And you never realize.
So it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. I stepped into vulnerability. All the voices in my head, what people think of me, age, all that kind of stuff. I let people into my life, and they helped me get to where I am today. So it's the same thing with that. Yeah. She's involved, and she's bringing it up. You're involved. Everyone trusts each other in that type of community. When people trust each other, are vulnerable, and commit to things to the group, I mean, that it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. So to wrap it up,
okay,
I want to know, what is the David Lovelin Jr. experience? What does someone get with you? What can people expect of you?
For real estate?
Anything that they need.
As a human.
And what to expect, what they can support, what they can follow, anything, whatever your future plans are.
So just
and
go
just
off.
Whatever you want.
Just drop
whatever
the hammer.
You want.
Hammer down.
There's a lot of value that I provide in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. Number one, I have integrity. I don't care what the situation is. I'm going to be honest. I think that's the most important trait anyone can have. I have a lot of fun in my life, but when it's work mode, I'm very serious. And if I was in work mode right now, I'd be a totally other person because I'm doing my job. I offer experience service, and integrity in everything I do. Everything I do is to the highest level, to the highest end, and I try to be the best at anything I get or do. But also one of the biggest things is when I commit, I commit. What does that mean? It means when I tell you I'm going to do something, like meet you for coffee tomorrow at 9:30 or raise $10,000 for some initiative, if I tell you I'm going to do that, how big or small it is, I'm going to do that, because it goes back to being an honest person. If I don't follow through with a commitment and make up some excuse, because we can all make excuses and they can be rational, I'm lying. And anyone who makes excuses like that, in a sense, is lying. And I take it to a really extreme level where, I'm human, people mess up, but I commit like no other person. So whether it's real estate, whether it's politics, whether it's whatever someone wants, and this is kind of the thing going back to relationship, when I commit, I'm all in. Very intense on that level. That's why people love me in real estate. I'm very assertive. Nice is not a word people use when they describe me professionally. Now with that being said, I'm cordial, I'm respectful, I'm professional. I get along very well, but I'm very candid and straight to the point, and I get the message communicated very clearly, to put it simply, and whatever I'm doing when I'm working for somebody. And that's powerful, because I feel like so many people, going back to people pleasing, want to keep things on even keel, are concerned about how people are going to perceive themselves. You give me a job, whatever that is in life, I will execute the fucking job. And that's it. The thing I want to ask, stepping into vulnerability, is truly, if anyone knows someone that's looking to buy or sell real estate,
Mr. 603,
please link them up with me.
Yeah.
And honestly, as funny as that might sound, those words right there is what's helped build my business.
Yeah.
Because I've had people say, oh, I bought a home, but it looks like you do high-end stuff, so I didn't want to waste your time. And that's not the truth at all. I do everything. I work with everybody. So it's really having people know I'm approachable. I'm not just some far-off guy like that you see on Instagram all the time that's, running for office, running a business, shaking hands with Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State. I'm also in your community. Like I'm your neighbor. Like, you can reach out to me. You can call me. These are the things that I want people to know. Like, I'm very human. And I've done a great job at building the brand. But as I've built the brand, and it's bigger than myself, David Lovelin, because of that, it's bigger than what a human can be. And I want people to know that there's still me there. And I think that's the biggest message I want to get across. I'm real. Like, I'm flesh and blood. Like, I'm here. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not just someone you see through like a phone.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm more than that. I'm not just, a figment of everyone's imagination. But sometimes I feel like in this age where we might not see people as much, or we're all doing our own things, people have a perception, and people have a perception of me, and I usually know what that is. And even though I'm doing all this stuff, like, so this is one thing, a question I thought you were going to ask me that you guys haven't yet. So, growing up, my name was Dewey.
I wanted to ask so bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I go by David now. I don't go by that. But there have been times where I've been walking at the grocery store or whatever, I hear that name. And when I hear that name, I don't even have to know who it is. I know that it's someone from way back, Travis Scott. And that's fucking cool. And I want people to realize oh,
so you are okay, this is a day one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
My day ones, and I'm not going to drop names, are some of my biggest supporters. I have made tens of thousands of dollars, probably at this point, hundreds of thousands of dollars in my career from people just champion me.
Yeah.
There's people that I know, if they know someone who's going to buyer seller or whatever, like they will stress like you got to take the card, you got to call them, you got to call them, and everyone has their like different way.
Yeah.
But again, it's going back to influence, impact, and when I impact people in such a way where like they're raving fans, that's amazing. So I kind of want to keep building my tribe. Do you know what I mean? Like Beyonce's got like, you know, her bees and stuff like that, and Lady Gaga's got her like monster, like you name it. Like I've got, you know, the 603 tribe.
Well, that's
I love it.
That's good though.
Just New Hampshire. People are like, you should get your Massachusetts real estate license. You should get your Vermont real estate license. You should get your Maine. You should get your Florida real estate license. David, you're missing out on so much money, money. And I go, I don't care. I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't want to go to Massachusetts. I want to stay right here.
Yeah. That's good because like the last 2 days are text messages of like either asking or talking about like, okay, the plans for this. We've only said Dewey. Anytime anyone anytime you've ever come up in conversation or like talked about you, it's always been Dewey, because I feel weird saying David.
Yeah.
But like even before this, we were like,
hard. When you came in, it was really hard.
We were
to
like,
say David,
all right, it's gotta be
so natural to say.
There was at one point, I'm not going to say the name of this person. We're friends to this day, but they told me like I'm not going to call you David, and I said that's fine, but I'm just not going to talk to you at all because I have a certain level of respect I have for myself. And if you're going to call me something that I don't want to be called, like that's disrespectful. And you know, they got the message pretty quick. You know what I mean? But it is part of me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? David was growing up. You know what I mean? David's a real name. Dewey's not a real name.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to put it pretty simply. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean that's about a wrap. There's so much more stuff, but like that we've covered a lot.
Like
of
I
stuff.
said, it's a completely open invitation.
Thank you.
Obviously, literally anytime. Just
I'll be back.
Tell me when. I mean, our football seasons are about to wrap, so
we'll have plenty of time.
The schedules are about to.
How should I dress next time? Because I was working earlier today.
If we do support,
I was going to come in my Easy Foams because I feel like younger people like are on the podcast, but I'm like, I almost
was gonna tell you beforehand, but I was
gonna wear like a bait sweatshirt
busy.
and like my Easy
say,
Foams.
Like
I put on the just
Callaway
shirt.
Thank you.
Because I was like, I know he's gonna come dressed up.
I didn't think about it. I thought about it earlier, and I ended up getting too busy and wrapped up in our loss.
No worries.
But I was just like,
I love fashion. That's another thing maybe we'll talk about on the other next podcast. I am huge in fashion.
I'll plan a little outfit. We'll try and look dapper for you.
If we do superlatives at the end of the year, best dressed.
What if we dress up like drill rappers? Like, what if I wear like I dress like I used to when I went at Merrimack Valley? It was like a flat hat Chicago Bulls.
I love
LeBron James shorts that were all white and went below my knees, and they were so baggy and wavy it almost looked like I was from Saudi Arabia and like had one of their things on, but just from the waist down.
Nothing better than baggy, saggy pants.
And then I had like
fashion.
I had a shirt on. Like I had all these Nike shirts with these like truly when I look back,
made you look.
Just yes.
Yeah, Nike
made
has
you
some
look,
slogans.
Cut the check, like just stuff that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah,
they were just.
My name's Baller.
Exactly. My coolest one though was a Kobe shirt, and the funniest, most ironic thing is, I didn't know who Kobe even was at the time because I don't really follow sports. Like I follow some, but just enough where like I know who the team is. Do you know what I mean? And it was like Black Mamba, hot-handed, cold-blooded.
Ooh, that's cold.
It is a good shirt, but it's funny that you're just like, this seems cool.
I was just wearing it because like that was the cool thing to wear. Like
that's
all
what they
Nike.
Got. Yeah,
$5 rack at Nike, baby.
You know, I had tantrums because I needed to go to the outlet.
Our age
and get like some Nike.
Our
Jordans.
high school generation of fashion is very labeled of like boat shoes, khakis, Odd Future.
Whose generation?
Ours.
Really?
You and me. Us in high school. You will either see people in.
I love Tyler to this day. He's one of my favorite artists.
So creative. So cool.
Creative.
But
I mean, I still wear boat shoes. Well, these are loafers, khakis. It's all LLB and from the waist down. Yeah, we'll talk about fashion on the next podcast because I could go off.
Again, anytime, hit us up. Let us know.
I got one more.
Okay.
Advice. A young person, fresh out of high school, fresh out of college, they're looking for advice. They don't know what they want to do. All they want to do is be successful.
Okay.
What's the advice there?
financially and personally, like spiritually successful?
I can tell people I have there's a definite answer to this, how to be successful. So people can do what they want with it. I hope they don't look at it too deeply, but the first thing you need to do, and it's this simple, is you have to believe in yourself. And I know that sounds cliche, but like name a goal, like just one thing you want to do, a dream. Name a dream.
Have a family.
Have a family. Okay. That's a good goal. A lot of people don't have families anymore. A lot of our generation is still, I won't get into it, but inactive in that category. So having a family nowadays is a big thing. If you believe that and you say, this isn't my dream, if you say, I am going to have a family, you're going to. There's a bunch of ways that could work out. The ways that could work out do not matter at all. All that matters is having a conviction. And if you have a true conviction, it means you're going to put in the work. Just saying, I want $100,000, it doesn't work that way. If you have a true conviction, you're going to work for that, and you're going to do whatever it is, and you're not going to know until it happens. No one knows. Everyone's like, is there a silver bullet? There's no silver bullet. Nothing works. That's why you have to do everything. And then it will eventually pay off. But it takes time and consistency. So if you have the conviction, what one of my mentors, who I didn't name, because pyramid scheme and past life where, I said I was 18, but I was like 15, 16 years old selling coffee. But anyways, he said, and to this day, find your magnificent obsession. Something that, because here's the thing that sucks about motivation. Everyone, excuse me, cut that part out. Excuse me.
That one too.
Yeah, they'll be like, what a pig. We're not voting for him. But anyways, if you find motivation is this, you get hyped up, but then the next day you're tired, you're depressed because whatever, you just lay in bed. Your motivation's done. If you have a magnificent obsession, a conviction, you'll get up. You will get up. Like, you don't even think. You just do, right? So that's what I would encourage people to do for, like, advice. Like, my biggest piece of advice, go out and find your magnificent obsession. And you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, I hate, especially this generation, it makes they make things sound so, like, nihilistic and, like, impossible and, like, oh, that's not realistic. You know what I mean? It's like, who's telling you that? It's us. It's in your head. So when people go out and find their magnificent obsession and just, like, go after it and get it, that's the trick. There's nothing more than that. That's it. That's my advice.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's get you a Mr. 603 book.
Thank you.
Coming next.
Oh,
Book's coming next.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't even know what would be in that, but
I think you'd fill it. I think you got it.
Like I said, prologue. The book hasn't started yet. Prologue.
Hasn't even started. Oh, man.
And that pisses people off right there. Do you know
the
what I mean?
pre-book. Yeah.
And I don't want to piss anyone off. I want everyone to be happy, but they get pissed off. Prologue.
Some people got to get mad. So you can be successful.
What this isn't even the prologue. It's like when you open the first couple pages, it's blank, and then there's one page with a bunch of, like, words and copyrights that don't even make sense, and like ISBN numbers, and I don't even know what that is, but, like, that's the page.
Before even the letting you know where chapters are.
Yes.
This
like that's where I'm at in life.
There you go, man.
You know what it's all about, though?
But
just got to join the tribe.
Yeah.
Join the
tribe.
Yes.
Join the tribe.
In closing, thank you for having me on the Brotherly Advice podcast.
Oh yeah.
It's been a pleasure and a privilege to do this with you boys, and I look forward to our next
man.
session.
Next one.
Anytime, feel free. Let us know. We appreciate it, man.
All right.
It's a wrap.
Bye, guys.